Punching in.
Woolie, punching in. We're here. We're reporting in. And, you know, Woolie, I was thinking back to our very second episode today. You remember that one?
Why were you thinking about that?
I believe it was Fear and Hunger versus Complete Failure. Yes. And if you remember in that episode, that was the episode where we told the story about the Good Guys Club. And you know, I think we can both agree that the Good Guys Club was a
strong memories, good bonding event.
Strong memory, good bonding event. I think the thing that I've always kind of hid from you is that I always felt a certain amount of discomfort in the Good Guys Club. I felt a little out of my elements, and I know you didn't notice because I was, you know me, Woolie. I'm like a
playing it smooth.
I'm the Rock, you know, not Dwayne Johnson, but like an actual piece of stone. But yeah, you know, all the naked ladies gyrating was not something that I'm used to. And yeah, you know, there was one or two moments during that whole event where I felt a little bit like, oh,
a little uneasy, just for the armor, like just fell for just a second, right?
I think maybe there was a moment where I kind of was like some of that, you know. And
somewhere between fan art A of the sweat trickling down, or B of the full on Shinji head and hands breakdown, give or take. Somewhere, you know, those two.
People have done both those fan arts of that moment, and
it's just not reality, though. It's just not what reality.
Yeah, well, like, but when we tell the story, people thinks that's what it looked like. But you were there, and you know, you saw.
We embellish to make the story better sometimes, right? That's surely this is what you're implying.
Sure, yeah. So
what of it?
You know, I in the same way that Goku had to train his tail so that it became not a weakness anymore, I needed to do some training. And so I went to a burlesque show over the weekend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, well, hell yeah. All right. I mean, that's a different flavor entirely. That's just a good old time without, you know, at not your expense.
I was not the entertainment at this one. I had never been before. Michelle was very keen to go. Michelle is also an admirer of the female form, and told me that Dita Von Teese was in town.
Yep. Yeah, that's a big name.
Everyone knows who this fucking woman is. I had no idea. Everyone I've said this to is like, no way, Dita Von... I had never heard of her before. Yeah. And...
No, just, I mean, burlesque has been picking up, and like I have multiple friends that are in that world that get in there and do the drops and do the full on insane costume changes, and
dude, fucking ruled.
It's the best. It's so cool.
Yeah. So very quickly into it, I realized this is basically pro wrestling without the matches. Everyone has their gimmick, their big entrance, they get their shit in, and it was so, like, weird, and there was, like, magic. There's a bunch of magic in it. And
I mean, was there a theme to the show you went to?
There was a couple of different things, and that's kind of something I appreciated. There wasn't, I would say, like, a central theme the entire way, but every burlesque performer had their gimmick. So like there was one dude and he was doing like ballet burlesque, like with techno.
Okay.
And it was like really weird and cool. That dude was so fucking bendy. At one point I leaned over to Michelle and I was like, that dude would be killer at jiu-jitsu. But like it was just like this really, really cool thing. And like Dita Von Teese herself, she came out and like the aura from that woman, like She steps out and you're immediately like, oh, this is someone who's like the best in the world at whatever their fucking thing is, or like one of the best in the world. Just like been doing it so long, so good, and she could do like a little hand flourish, and you're kind of just like, what? Why is this affecting me? Like it's literally that, and like clothes come off, and it's all like good, sexy, fun time. And then so basically she did like her whole kind of bit, and then like a bunch of other like burlesque performers did their thing. There was a North African belly dancer
Let's go.
And he was fucking rad. God damn. That man could move. And but right at the end anyway, we're kind of like, they basically do the kind of like encore bit where it's like it seems like it's over, but it's obviously not over. And the curtains pull back and Dita Von Teese activates her domain expansion.
Okay.
There is a giant, like, not champagne, a giant, like, Manhattan glass on the stage. And it's, like, gigantic. And then she, like, gets into it and there was actual liquid in it. And it was, like, and she did, like, a sexy Manhattan routine, which was, like, one of the most insane and captivating just performances I've ever seen. And afterwards I was fucking stunned. Like I was like, I genuinely had my mind scrambled. I took out my phone afterwards and I tried to put in my PIN. I got locked out of my phone because my fucking it really, the whole performance was just incredible. And so like I started looking Dita Von Teese up afterwards. She's like 50. And like I don't understand the human body and its proclivities, and aging is not what I thought it was. And just
no, I mean, so like fortunately Montreal is a big burlesque city. There's a lot that happens here. There's a festival that takes place, and from checking out some of that, and I remember being at a show where, like, I mean, what you're just describing, like Punch Bomb and I have seen, like what you basically get on each one of these shows is there is a bar that appears beneath every performer that's just confidence, and when it maxes out, they cash in and just like domain expansion, as you said. The aura explodes at a moment, and the crowd just goes bah.
Yeah, and like I could totally see that in the performers, because there was one or two of them where I was like, oh, they haven't got the audience yet. Like they're building them up, and we're going somewhere, and every one of them got there. But with Dita particularly, she came out with 3 stocks in the barrel. She was all she had to do was activate, and I remember in particular there was one performer at the festival who basically, the best way I can describe it is went full Jotaro, lean back, like full JoJo pose, right, into like head and back, upper back on the ground, and then legs flipping from front position back over to heels clicking on the ground. Oh my
And the audience just went, ah! And it was like to the beat of the music as well. Everyone's like, what is happening? This is insane.
It's so sick. And at some point, you're kind of just marveling at what is possible with the human body.
Yeah. So, again, some friends we have, shout out Skelly V, one of our friends who she did such a cool show where there's a video game themed burlesque performance, and
of course she did. God damn, yeah.
And she came out as a Magikarp and just kind of flopped around until eventually the music kicks in and a insane Gyarados outfit explodes from the inside of the Magikarp.
Cool.
Right?
Oh man, I miss Skelly so much.
I remember another show that took place where they were doing movie themes, and this one was Raiders of the Lost Ark, And so like you had Indy rolling around, and then like you had the Nazis grabbing the arc, and at one point like they're trying to force it open, and then they do, and then the light shines, and then the burlesque performer inside, she gets up and she is the light inside of the arc and starts doing the twirl, and then it makes the Nazis' face melt. Like they have a prosthetic for their flesh to melt off their faces.
Unbelievable.
As she's twirling at them. And Indy's just like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah. So I just wanted to get this out there because, a lot of people have made fun of me for the stripper incident. And I just want to say it's a new John. I'm here. I love it when people I don't know take off their clothes. It's
yeah. All right.
Yeah.
You got your sea legs now. Feeling confident about that.
Absolutely.
You won't get fooled again.
No, sir. No way. I'm a real salacious person now. Woolie, I'm just talking the truth here, and the laughter I feel like is maybe undermining my point a little bit.
Hey, you got there.
I got there.
That's a great way to get there. Yeah,
you know what else is a great way to get there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Eyepatch Wolf.
I'm Woolie Versus.
And we are
Yeah. No, the world of burlesque is fun, and like again, just such a cool watching the costuming and the work that goes into it, and again the audience as well. Like there's an energy to the way those shows happen that is distinctly different from the classic Washington D.C. strip club experience. I'm going to
say the clientele being served at both these places was quite a world apart.
Yeah, I don't think at the Good Guys Club full on hooping and hollering would have been what was called for.
Oh no,
usually,
you consume the Good Guys Club in silence.
Whereas at a burlesque show, get loud, get in there. Yeah.
There was also I've never watched like RuPaul's Drag Race, but there was a drag queen from that, Ben de la Creme. And there was one bit where she was just doing like a bit of crowd work, and she just goes to this guy, and what do you work in? And he just goes, a cemetery. And without missing a beat, she just goes, but who's guarding the ghosts? So yeah, shout outs to Dita Von Teese, and anyone doing burlesque that takes some real confidence, and I think like I would go to another burlesque show in a heartbeat.
Okay. Duly noted. Well, keep that one in mind. So yeah. This is been a little month here. Stuff has happened. I guess should I take the lead here?
Whatever you want, buddy.
On a thing or two. I was briefly away from home for a bit and got to experience baby's first travel, which was surprisingly not that bad. Everyone kind of warned that like, hey, while the baby is still part potato, that's a great time to go traveling, because when you have to chase them around the room, that's much harder. So for now, they don't move. So just little potato mode, put that on the plane and we can do it, And yeah, it turns out the plane is also a giant white noise machine. So, that was very nice to just kind of have it not be too brutal in terms of just like how upset she would get and everything like that, managed to do that part okay. And something that happened while I was out there is the place where I was staying. Father-in-law has a nice little lake behind his house, and what he likes to do in the winter is go set up a little tent and drill a little hole in the ice. And I don't know if you're familiar with this, but have you heard of the polar plunge?
Okay, never properly. Are we talking going into the ice water?
So they cut a hole in the ice and you get in the ice water.
Wow.
And that shit is nuts. I've seen videos. I've seen the whole, Wim Hof breathing, and, you can last a couple minutes and you get all these benefits and stuff. And I was like, this is one of those, just the caucasity of this.
Okay, no, hang on. Please break down the phrase caucasity.
This is an activity of the Caucasus. This type of activity is typically reserved for those who let's say are slightly less melanated, in my opinion.
Sure. This is some white people shit. Yeah,
a little bit. But it was happening, and it was one of those things where when in Rome, right? So so father-in-law was like, yeah, don't worry about it, but it's a really great experience, and talking about it every, and a couple of the other people in the family sometimes go and stuff like that. And I was just like, let me go take a look at this, because I'm already walking out on this ice river, and I'm like, this is kind of nuts, but it is solid enough that people drive trucks and roll their snowmobiles. So I'm like, okay,
Jesus,
it's
wow,
solid.
okay, yeah.
I was like, you don't have to worry about the the horror, no Riverdale episode happening, But yeah, and I'm standing there looking at it, and I'm like, fuck it, let's go. And well, it happened, and I went in there, and let's see if I. Okay, let me see if I can pull this up. All right, so you can just take a look here.
Keep going, boy. Good for you. Fuck. That's it. Breathe. Slow it down. Motherfucker. Oh, son of a bitch. Fuck. But you're good, man. You've already got like 15 seconds. 20. Okay. All right. That's impressive, boy. 25. And that's good.
So, okay, I have actually done this, not in an ice river, but in a gym.
Okay.
I have taken ice baths, and I loved it. Like, yes, it is that exact, oh, fuck, but, like, it feels great.
So the thing that happens right afterwards is your body starts going, you are dying, let me try to fix that. And then it floods you with all the good feelings and stuff. But that initial just, what is happening to us right now is a lot.
Yep, that's a lot.
And I've done it, yeah. So I've done like a thing where you just kind of go in and out. That was like part of like a circuit experience or so. But like going straight into the river, man, is just it's intense. But I get it. At this point, I can say feeling that warmth afterwards, and there's a thing too where it's like, okay, 3 minutes is the time you want to go for, and after 3 minutes, you no longer get the benefits, right? So. Like it's just achievement points at that end. If you're just, for nothing. But if you can slow your breathing down and get up to 3 minutes, and you can get all the whatever things that happen, but hey, I did it.
You did it. You totally did it. Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool to feel that warmth afterwards. I can see how you can get like kind of hooked on that feeling.
For sure. It's a rush. Like the first time I did it and I was like, oh, fuck that. And then immediately I was like, I wonder, can I go for longer? and then I did it like 3 times, and by the 3rd time I was really enjoying it. But like, yeah, it is, you are overloaded with sensation.
To the point where walking back to the house afterwards, like my body was like, "Oh, you don't need your coat, you're fine." And I'm like, "No, that's how you die." Like, because I'm on an open water area, you know, so it's like the wind and everything is blowing. It's supposed to be cold. It was really cold walking to it, but coming from it, you're going into that like overcompensation, you know.
And your brain's like, well, we're just gonna turn off these shivers. Don't need these anymore. And you know,
scary,
maybe you should just take off the rest of your clothes, because it's actually quite hot.
You're getting hot. You're getting
You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. So that took place. Yeah. Another thing that I just wanted to bring your attention to. Have you heard of the film VARANASI to the World?
This is brand new to me.
Okay. I'm going to pop a trailer over here for this. And the reason why it's important is because this is the follow-up from the people that brought you RRR.
Oh.
So
are we doing a live react?
No.
Okay.
Take a second. Let's stop here. Take a second. Take a look, and we'll come back.
Okay.
In a second,
Okay. We'll be right back. So they were holding back with Aurora.
This appears to be the most ambitious attempt at filmmaking I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
The trailer for this thing is pointing at the WrestleMania sign in space.
The tutorial for filmmaking is over. Now we finally an actual movie. Am I right, Willie?
What the fuck is this going to be?
We've been messing around like with fucking little kind of movies here and there. This is the first real movie of all time.
Like,
that's what this is.
From starting in ancient times to then like 7200 BC to then modern to the future, and you're seeing like the gods writing on the back of the book.
I was watching that trailer, and I was like, there's one I was like, wow, that dude is ripped. Wow, that dude is ripped, and he has a lion's head. Wow, that guy with a lion's head is 300 meters tall, and he's battling a gigantic army.
So this appears to be, from like just at a glance, I'm like, I've seen amazing ancient like art depicting the gods fighting, and this appears to be an attempt to capture that on film and to have it span across all of time. The battle of the gods from the beginning of time until the end of it.
It says it right at the end of the trailer. Globetrotter, time trotter, everything.
The audacity promised by this film trailer is insane. Yeah. I can't believe it. And this is the next step after RRR, you know?
Yeah, this is the like literal anime nice try kid to the rest of the film industry.
God damn, you know?
Yeah.
Well, sure. Yeah, I mean if you saw like the characters basically becoming their MCU style versions of themselves last time, here is your Infinity War.
Yeah.
Right?
It genuinely makes me feel like this was the movie this guy was trying not to make in or, and now it's broken free.
Yeah. You got glimpses of it at the end of RRR, right? Coming out of the water and getting the fucking super arrow, and like that was the it's peeking through. And now we're fully in that dimension.
So fucking sick. I am excited about that. Woolie, I want to drop a little update here for a previous recommendation. I returned to Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah, you did.
So, this is the Caribbean place in Dublin, and it has a new location. It is right next to the Stephen Green's shopping center. Let me get the exact address. Actually,
They're expanding.
They are in a much trendier bar now.
Let's go. Okay.
Yeah, and I got myself some.
Did you see Ruby?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
I'll get to that.
Okay.
I'll get to Ruby. But I got myself. So I actually, this was kind of a combination of a couple of things, because I actually brought my Gunpla club there, and
yeah,
you know, we kind of got Ian
look at me just enriching the quality of your life. You know, I mean, it's just.
Totally. You know, shut the fuck up. You know, whatever. I didn't ask for that. And so yeah, it's in a bar called Chillers on the Green, and that's in where you'll find Ruby and the rest of the people there. And I got a meat smash, which was some jerk chicken, and in a wrap, really good. I accidentally ate some. I felt really bad. I ate some jerk chicken wings, and no one at our table had ordered it, and we were just like, "Oh, okay." And then I took one, I took a bite, and then a server comes over and goes, "This wasn't for your table, was it?" And I looked at her with chicken wing in hand, and I was like, "Ah!"
But the spice didn't get you, though. You're okay.
Yeah, I can handle spice. I can handle spice just fine. I got some curry goat. You know, Woolie, fucking try me, dude. Try me.
My spice history has been documented for the internet to see.
I feel like we are rapidly talking ourselves into a live event that we will both deeply regret.
Immense regret. However, you know what? We can both back off of this little tightrope we find ourselves on.
Okay.
Back to safe land. All right. All right.
I got my personal favorite Caribbean dish, the curry goat, and just fucking delicious. Oh my god, I love that so much.
Let's go.
But anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm enjoying my meal, and Ruby comes over and she's bringing us over some of our meal, and she looks at me and she goes, "You," and I'm like. And I was not expecting for her to remember me like at all. I just was not.
Hey.
And then she goes, "You're the podcast guy," and I was like, "Oh, yeah." And she goes, "Thank you so much. I made so many friends because of you."
Let's go.
So
yeah. Oh, that's great.
The Versus Wolves faithful showed up big time, and she was like, "So many people come here because they heard it on your podcast, and I just wanted to say thank you." And I was like kind of stunned, and I was like, oh, that's great. I'm happy to put the word out. And she goes, "You really, really did." So like, I just want to shout out our audience, like, for showing up and supporting like a local, you know, like individual owned business. I felt so proud of the Versus Wolves community. Like, thanks so much everyone who's checked that out, because that was fucking incredible.
That's super cool, you know. And also, you got to eat some good Caribbean food.
I sure did. I really did.
It is a win-win-win, you know, for anybody who went there. That's awesome. Hell yeah.
And in that vein, I just need to make a correction, because a couple of episodes ago, I recommended a place in Dublin for matcha. I gave the wrong name. The actual place I recommend is called Matcha Matsukawa. And that does the greatest matcha cake you will ever have. Disregard the previous recommendation. This is the actual recommendation.
the previous place is actually where people get stabbed, so don't go. It is Crime Alley.
We've lost a few listeners. Okay, not like a lot, but not an insignificant percent either. So just want to say, Matsukawa Matcha in Dublin absolutely made me understand matcha. Like just fucking beautiful food, and tell them that the Versus Wolves sent you.
Sometimes it takes a month, but we can correct our wrongs.
3 months, three months of sending people to the wrong business,
to Crime Alley. Yeah. Okay. No, that's cool.
Really, just like genuinely, just made me like so happy, and she seemed like delighted to see me again, which is good because, like, I think the first time she was kind of like, "What? Like a fucking you do a podcast? What? Like." Understandably, right? Mm-hmm, but it makes me so happy that like it actually made a difference.
Yeah. No, that's great. And like, I'm sure anytime, you're around those parts and you show your face, I mean, you're going to get a warm welcome,
She did bring over some little cakes for Sean. Happy birthday, Sean. It's going to be Sean's birthday when this comes out. Or just after, yeah. But
Gunpla and Oxtail. What kind of life we live?
Just a blessed existence, Woolie. A blessed existence. And I needed it as well because while there was definitely some highs since the last time we recorded this episode, there were some lows, Woolie. Ruby Tuesdays is not the only place I returned to, because I also returned to Silent Hill.
Oh. You paid a ticket for that, did you?
Woolie, what do you know about this movie?
What I know is they dodged doing the James movie last time around, and I guess they've eventually decided to do so. And I saw a trailer where people were likening the costumes to basically a porn parody, only to realize that porn parodies were more accurate and faithful with their costume design.
So, Woolie, I stumbled out of this movie, and I went into this movie being like, I'm not gonna become that person. I'm not gonna be that fucking they ruined my video game. Like, no, I'm past that. I'm nearly 40. I'm not that person anymore, is what I thought. And this film proved me wrong. The further I get away from this film, the more like bamboozled and like just like I don't even know what I feel mind exploded from this film. So, I feel like just kind of amazed that you started with Silent Hill, and this is where you got. Willie, can I tell you what I believe is the entire driving ethos of this adaptation?
Please, because I was just going to ask, like, one thing I know is, like, the previous movies, of which there were 2, were just doing, like, the Mason storyline, right? Harry and 1 and 3. But Pyramid Head was in those, right?
Yes. Oh, Woolie. You are
okay. Yeah, I know.
I am telling you that there is a nest of hornets right there, and you are looking at your wrist and being like, "Oh, ladybird."
Okay, where
the
are
entire driving ethos of this movie is What if James was the hero of Silent Hill 2?
Come on.
You know what Silent Hill 2 needs?
Come on.
A hero.
Oh man. Okay.
What if, Woolie? What if? Now follow me here.
Yep.
What if there was no moral ambiguity at all to Silent Hill 2?
Okay. Hollywood producer man plays through video game and just
now
according to
Christoph Gans, Silent Hill 2 is his favorite video game of all time. After watching this movie, I am convinced that he has played one video game of all time, and it was not Silent Hill 2. This movie opens up, and first shot, James sparks up a fucking blunt. He then gets in a bar fight, and you know what, Woolie? He's a cool, sick artist who's like edgy and does edgy paintings. That's James Sunderland in this movie.
It ain't your daddy's James.
Yeah, this ain't your daddy's James Sunderland. I was telling the Infinite Review about this last night, and he came out with the all-timer line, "There was a bowl here. It's gone now."
That's pretty good.
But yeah, and so like this movie's like weird because it starts off and the first scene is James meeting Mary.
Okay.
And in the same way that they want to turn Mary into, or the same way they want to turn James into a cool guy, they kind of turn Mary into like a cool girl. Like, and I know there's not a lot of Mary in Silent Hill 2, and when she is there, like, she's just a little bit pathetic. I think that's kind of intentional or whatever. But no, she's like snappy and she's got like zingers, and her and James like banter back and forth. And it's kind of like, it's weird, right? Because they make Mary cooler, but by doing that, Maria has like no place in this movie. Like, you could cut Maria out of this movie and it wouldn't matter. And I would say Maria is on screen for maybe like 15 minutes of the whole movie. Like, she's barely in it. And it's just weird. But then Angela is also played by the actor who plays Mary and Maria.
Okay. I feel like we've spent a lot of our time, basically, multiple episodes have been dedicated towards, and videos that you've made as well, preaching the idea that you shouldn't use media literacy to gatekeep.
Definitely.
But sometimes there are places where perhaps for some people you should be gatekept due to media literacy.
Yeah, and I'm going to say the benchmark for that gatekeeping is about a $27 million budget.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So, okay, here's the kind of movie this is, right? Do you remember the moment in Silent Hill 2 when you first see Pyramid Head? You come out of stairs, you open the door, and there is a bar between you and Pyramid Head, and he just stares at you. All-timer moments in horror games, right? So much subtlety, so much ominous dread. Mm-hmm. You go away, you come back, and he's gone. Where is he now? That's a fucked up thought.
What the fuck did they do?
Okay. What if now Pyramid Head breaks through the bars and chases James?
Yeah. Get your trailer shot going.
Oh, Woolie, I'm not done. What if, while running away from Pyramid Head, James finds Mary's dead body?
Okay.
What if Mary's dead body transforms into a giant tarantula monster where her ass is the thorax.
Oh my god.
And we get several shots linking on her gorgeous thorax ass.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
What if Tarantula Mary and Pyramid Head then proceed to have the equivalent of a hardcore wrestling match?
Okay, so someone had one idea.
What if Pyramid Head then corners James in the closet, and he opens the closet and he sees James and he makes this noise, Woolie. Me! What if we then get a giant 3D camera shot that goes into the Pyramid Head and we can see that it's James's face under the pyramid? What if later in the movie James does a self-portrait? He does an edgy, sick painting self-portrait of his own face, and then he paints a giant red triangle around it and goes, no!
I was about to ask with fear if they made Pyramid Head talk. We are so far beyond this.
Woolie, that's the little ladybug over there.
Oh my god.
The hornet's nest. And we're just getting started.
Oh, wow.
So look, I can't go much further without going into spoilers here.
Are we afraid of spoilers for Silent Hill 2 fucking years late, or for Return to Silent Hill for that matter? Really?
Yeah. And so look, I know what I'm in for with this movie at this point. I'm like, okay, let's have a goofy, stupid time. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Like, okay, fine. The problem is that, like, I'm like, Woolie, I, with my full chest, wholeheartedly recommended you all 7 Leprechaun movies. I love some schlock. I genuinely do. And I would say I even love that about the previous Silent Hill movies. Maybe not love. I enjoy that about those movies. They're silly, silly movies that aesthetically use the visual language of Silent Hill. And that's not a bad thing to me.
I haven't seen any of them, but I've heard to this day about the skin pull as a moment that fucking horrifies everybody.
That moment's kind of sick. That's the moment that kind of made me sit up and go, okay, I see what we're doing here. The problem, Woolie, is that Silent Hill 2, it touches off some, I would say, pretty delicate themes. And halfway into this movie, I'm like, okay, I get it. We are getting rid of those themes. We are just not dealing with them. I'm looking at the way they're kind of treating Maria, and I'm like, okay, I don't think we're really like doing that. This is basically a silly action movie wearing the skin of Silent Hill 2. I was wrong. So, okay, look. Want to just drop a little content warning here. There's a character in Silent Hill 2, Angela. Angela is a survivor of, assault. It is very prominent in her character, how she moves, how she acts. And it's very prominent within the encounter with the abstract daddy, the bedman.
Her boss fight, her scene, the staircase.
There's one part that like really... in that room, it's just these pistons going in and out of these holes. And it's so uncomfortable. The implications are so horrifying. And I think it's genuinely a very real and very honest depiction of that kind of trauma and this character. And I think the final moments with Angela on the staircase are some of the most heartbreaking in the history of games. Because she says, "You can't save me." She's like what? Like she's literally like, what the fuck are you? Like, what do you think this is? What can you like? It is ridiculous that you thought you could ever help me.
Playing that for the first time like a year or two ago and having it hit with the full impact. Time has done nothing to weaken how powerful that part of the game was. I was blown away.
And I really feel like Silent Hill 2, like it depicts a lot of pain. I think there's like an incredible empathy for pain in that game. Like it is unflinching in like what those characters have been through, and it is so like loving in how it lets that pain be real and it respects its characters. So Angela is played by the same woman who plays Mary and Maria, and we get to the encounter with Bedman. And now Bedman has like a face. Like, you know, when you see the abstract daddy in Silent Hill 2,
it's just, yeah,
you can make out that it's one person on top of another in a bed. The top person has a face, and it's Angela's dad's face. And then they superimpose Angela's face onto the bottom person. And it's like, it is horrifying, but in a way that I think is like genuinely disgusting and so disrespectful to that character. Like, it just feels like, what is the most fucked up thing we could do to this person in this scenario? And like, it adds no meaning. It adds no like context to it. It just feels like this horrific depiction of this awful thing. And like, I'm looking at it and like, I'm like, that's fucked up. And so then James like beats the monster, and the monster, along with Angela, who has been like, who it's her face in the monster now, explodes. And it's just, that's the end.
That's the end of her.
Yes.
Like, when you don't understand the source material, but you are now hired to work for some, like, okay, how a corporation can hire somebody who's talented to tell an amazing story, and then all the people involved in telling that story are no longer there, so the corporation is left holding on to this thing that people like, but they don't really know why. It just reaches out and goes, I don't know, can you make some more money with this? We don't really get it, but can you do something with it? Like, the idea that you can go through so many rounds of script writing and greenlighting processes and all that to the point where this gets done and what you're describing exists, and at no point nobody that liked or cared enough about the original was able to step in and go, this is insane, and I just don't understand how it gets this far and uses so much money. It's so baffling. The process is crazy. And this is all right on the heels of a remake that just came out that most people were like, that was a pretty good one.
Remake is solid, you know, like I have my criticisms of it, but
holy shit,
that is a game that understood the source material, you know. We're not done, Woolie. We're not even at the worst part. So eventually, you know, we're going and we get to the scene where James murders Mary. And in the original, this is a really hard scene to watch because James basically just takes a pillow, and it's a real like limited view of it, and it's kind of hard to tell what's happening, but I think that's kind of what makes it powerful in a lot of ways. And he kills her. And he kills her because he is exhausted of seeing her in pain. He is exhausted of his life with her. There's resentment, there is wanting to release his wife from this suffering, but there's also a selfishness to it. There's like, you cannot look at it and say it's a good thing. Like, it just, it's good, it's evil, it's hateful, it's love, it's everything, you know?
Yep.
In this film, so they're not married. They are basically they were together for what seems like a couple of months, and then James found out that Mary's in a cult, and that the cult like cannibalize her body, but then she also gets sick from the cult, and you know, so then he comes back to Silent Hill to visit this woman he spent like what seems like a couple of months with. I don't know.
Sure, man.
Which is like, that's just, those are not even the same characters. That is not the same relationship, you know? But she takes his hand, Woolie, and lowers it onto her own face, being like,
fuck off, dude. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
holy shit, you don't understand anything about why any of this was worth it.
I'm going to go one step further. Not only do you not understand, you are a coward. You are a coward. Everyone who is involved with that creative decision is a fucking coward.
The only things making this story as impactful as it is the complexity of the fucking emotional turmoil that that he's going through and what they're going through and why and how fucked up it is to have that be the guilt that you feel for doing that, but also like the selfishness of everything that he was tempted by while resenting his dying wife. Like there's so much to that is like, ugh. And the letter reading at the end, which is just the ultimate in release. I can't believe that an official, like, you can't possibly misinterpret this material any harder. That's crazy.
That's where you're wrong, Woolie. Because we're not done. Final scene of the movie. James wakes up and he's in his car. And it's the first scene of the movie. And he stops at the rest stop and Mary's there. Just like in the first scene of the movie. And he's like, oh, Mary. And she doesn't know who he is. Because we're back at the start of the movie. And he's like, hey, I know you're going to Silent Hill. But what say me and you get out of here? And they drive off into the distance as rock and roll music blares.
And nothing happened. That's crazy. That's actually insane.
It is fucking lunacy.
Is this... Do they make an attempt to connect it to the other two movies at all? Or is it just like its own thing?
Yeah, I think there is some attempts. I think the cult that is like cannibalizing Mary is something to... I'm going to be real, I don't fucking care.
Who fucking cares?
Who fucking gives a shit?
John, I have been a Silent Hill fan for 1 year, and being a fan of Silent Hill appears to be suffering.
Oh, yes. Oh, like, yes.
I mean, it seems like the timing was all right, though, because, again, 2 remake and F, you know, that's, hey, all right.
Hey, and ultimately, like, if you go remake F and the movie, and one of them's going to be a disaster, make it the movie. Like, make F its own weird fucking cool thing. And they did. Holy shit. Like, and like, Woolie, with Christoph Gans, the director, like, he knows how to create a look. There is, like, interesting shots in this movie. The shots never, like, communicate anything or mean anything, but they look cool. Oh my fucking god, I have never seen an adaptation whiff harder. Like, I have never seen an adaptation so thoroughly misunderstand what was beautiful about the original.
I'm getting hit with the flashbacks of Foxcade talking about Addie Shankar doing Devil May Cry, you know, at this point. Like, just the level of, like, just Hollywood sees horror as this thing, and this is what we must make, and then at the end of making our thing, we'll stick the word Silent Hill on it. You know, does it have a pyramid head? Does it have a dude named James and a character named Mary? All right, ship it. That's it. You know, and an artist somewhere had a thought. Someone had an idea that was like, what if ass spider? You know, and it was like, yeah, ass spider, yeah. Okay.
Hey, Jim, get over here.
Take a look at this.
Look at this drawing. That spider's got a good ass.
Now hold on, throw that back into ChatGPT. let's enhance. You know. That's so upsetting for something that is originally handled with such delicacy and insane. When we talked about, like, how, you know, with Berserk, and how, like, the best parts of it are when you can see that, like, Miura has been through some shit or has been close to it enough to have experienced the subtlest like details and to capture those on the page. And I felt that with Silent Hill 2 specifically. So I felt Silent Hill 2, 1 and 3 were great. I felt with 2 that the people involved in making this, you know, with all the goofy parts attached, they had to be close to the subject material they were talking about, because it's handled with such specificity, you know, and leaves that room for you to be like, oh fuck, that's a compelling tale of pain. I just, it's so annoying that you go all these years later and the bits with bad video game adaptations, like, you know, we've gotten not past it, but there's been some good ones we're hitting every once in a while, every now and then, but you just are like, nah, we're bringing Silent Hill back and we got cash to make. And I heard that like this had something to do with like the games coming back to begin with. Was the interest in the film being made had to do with the resurgence at all?
Yeah, I can't. It's just bizarre. Someone quote tweeted me on Blue Sky talking about this, and they linked this interview with Christoph Gans, and it's about why in Silent Hill, the first Silent Hill movie, he changed Harry to Rose. I think it is. It's been a minute since I've seen that movie. So basically, he gender swapped the protagonist of Silent Hill 1, and it's this kind of weird bit where he's talking about like, well, you know, in the game, Harry is like very like, you know, he's kind of screams a lot and like he gets scared and he's not very proactive. He's not a very masculine character.
Right.
So, you know, to preserve those characteristics, and so to me, going back to what I said right at the beginning, the problem with this fucking movie is that someone looked at Silent Hill 2, $27 million in hand, and said, this movie needs a hero. This story needs a hero. Because that is the only way you get from Silent Hill 2 to return to Silent Hill.
Yeah. No, an asshole who doesn't who's lived a life that has probably never been through shit is looking at each of these games going, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be, you know, like, ooh, Harry, what, no, fuck that. I don't want, you can't make, that's not cool. I don't want, what a loser. And just
it's not realistic a man would ever get scared.
I would, if I were in that situation, let me tell you what I would do. You know,
if Pyramid Head were here right now, I'd knock him the fuck out.
Yeah, right.
Oh, there's also a bit where James like John Wicks his way through like 50 nurses.
Of course he does.
And then one slips by him and stabs Maria.
Yeah. Man, oh man. And I can only imagine how the nurse shit goes, but like, wow, that's just that's fucking unfortunate. Because at least when we talk about shit like, hey, remember how silly and dumb that Street Fighter movie was? Like, you can laugh at Jean-Claude Van Damme and, you know...
I will not have a word of shit talk about the live-action Street Fighter movie.
You know, and Raul Julia did a great job, and you know what? They made a bunch of money, like, that we can't fathom going straight to DVD on that. But, VHS, rather. Not straight to, but anyway, in sales after the fact in, like, Walmart or whatever. What you're describing is, it's not in the category of so bad it's good, it's just... go fuck yourself if you have any feelings about this franchise then.
Halfway into that movie, I was like, okay, I think we may have a so bad it's good banger on our hands. It's mishandling of themes and just straight up, like, honestly, just like hatred towards its characters. Like, that's the part I can't get past, you know?
Okay. Well, fuck. Good to know. Thank you for the report. I appreciate it.
Always.
Okay. One other thing to touch on. Actually, well, two, real quick. One, just I don't know if you heard about like 2XKO, but like half the team
that
just
sucks.
got laid
What
off,
the fuck?
and that shit sucks. That's a bunch of people that, like, you know, FGC people that have done a great job, and it just sounds like after 10 years of development is a crazy long time, and it was not making what it needed to out the gate. So when the console release happened, then that shit just is a huge bummer. But I hope everybody involved is able to land on their feet and figure out something. I know that there's not as many like fighting game opportunities in North America as compared to if you lived in Japan, for example. But it is nice to hear that, they're getting 6 months of severance,
Oh,
so
awesome. Yeah.
That's a really nice package by comparison to some of the other shit that the industry spits out. And especially during this crash time. And it's also it's nice to see as well, okay, the game is not canceled. They're continuing with 80 people, which is a fairly large team. There's a lot of games right now that I would say probably most fighting games are active right now don't have a team of that size. So it's still active, and we'll see where this goes. There's still belief in it to keep it going, and we'll see what happens with it. But just sucks to hear about the downsizing of 50% of what was there. And some of the writing is on the wall. I get, you have to say after 10 years of development, but just a bummer on that. Game's still fun and cool, and hoping for the best for the project and everyone involved there. I wanted to just briefly touch on the number one thing that came up last episode was, people are like, okay, I know that the thumbnail says Batman, but these motherfuckers better talk about Martian Manhunter. And then we did. And sometimes you're in the middle of writing it, and it's like, no, hold on, we'll get there. And then we did. But the number one piece of feedback was, but what about Wonder Woman, though?
I think the piece of feedback was closer to, listen, dum-dums, you like the Absolute Comics, you like buff women, stop being idiots. Which, fair.
Yeah. So I can say this. I have caught up with Absolute Wonder Woman since then. And there's some fucking cool shit there. It is very good.
I have read the first 8 chapters, and
okay.
I enjoyed it.
I like it. I think it adds a good alternate perspective to what we're describing between Batman and Martian Manhunter, and some of the others. Where it's like this is an oppressive, horrible, shitty world where evil dominates and the world tends towards it, kind of like the real world. And fighting against that takes everything and then some. And what her sort of demeanor represents is different from what it's not what Batman has, and it's not what the Martian is trying to teach, right? She's coming into it with a different perspective, and with that and her powers behind it, using that kind of love for all things in this type of world is a really cool thing, and they're doing a great job with it so far. I feel there's definitely, it's interesting to watch too, as she's going through things it's almost like you're reading Doctor Strange or so, because she's solving problems by pulling out her magic and casting things in a way where you're I don't know what's going on, but surely this will be some crazy shit we've never seen before, or instead of, again, I would say that with original Wonder Woman, you kind of are looking at just much more of a traditional warrior. She's been raised in fight and swings and does the thing, but here she's got to kind of use the appropriate spell, the appropriate cast, sometimes thinking outside the box, some really cool things where there's one moment where she sort of empties her bag and you see her weapons, and besides the giant fucking berserker sword and besides the giant axe and all that, you see multiple lassos, and you see a green one, you see a blue one, and you see a red one, but there is no yellow lasso of truth there anywhere to be seen. But I feel like there's some good stuff here, and I think it'd be fun to dive into some of this stuff.
We were kind of talking before, and we think maybe an intermission lounge where we go back over my reaction to Martian Manhunter, and Wonder Woman. And if people want to take a swing and pitch us like any of the other absolutes, maybe some more issues of Absolute Batman will be out then, and we can kind of catch up with them then. But I think an absolute intermission lounge could be really fun, because I'm enjoying this stuff way more than I thought I would. I'm not a huge like DC guy, but this stuff's kind of rad.
Yeah. I basically all caught up on Green Lantern as well. So I've gone through most of it. Superman, I've started scratching into, haven't gone as far in. So there's stuff to talk about. Let's do that. And also speaking of the lounge, hey, fucking thank everyone for the cool feedback on Lancer. That has been super dope. I was so excited to like drop that and walk away and just be like, oh, by the way, Tom is DMing. And everyone's like, what?
My favorite comments, I think, was, this is the Super Bowl for a very specific kind of nerd. But, I always say, like, when something really hits, you can tell by the fan art, right? I think fan art is the truest metric. We have just gotten a bunch of Trev Apollo Showdown fan art, and it's fucking awesome. It's so good.
Yeah. Tom was just such a great DM with it, and like also massive shout outs to Fox Kate on the edit, and Sir Meow Music, who came in from the Please Stop Talking podcast, who was able to do the soundscaping for us. So all the voice effects, all the music, all the sounds that you're hearing to make the campaign come to life. That's Billy on the ones and twos. So overall,
absolutely
really cool.
Killed it. Brilliant.
If you guys, we're talking about Versus Wolves Lancer. So that just dropped on the channel, and really happy.
If you have not heard it, like, it's basically a 3-hour podcast that is us playing like this role playing game and like coming up with our own characters and stuff. And it was one of the most fun recordings I have ever done. I saw like some fan art of like some bits, some jokes we did that I had forgotten about. They made me laugh. I was like, oh yeah, we did do that, didn't we? And it was just shout out to all the fan artists as ever. Like, but yeah, do go check that out. And future episodes will go up on the Patreon. And it's just a really fucking cool thing. So thank you, everyone.
Fun projects that we can. It's cool to, like, especially in a really busy time, it's fun to have a completely out of nowhere, brand new side project that we can just like drop for you guys, and the feedback has been great. So
yeah.
Oh, so I was just
Sorry,
going
go
to
ahead.
that's over on the Versus Wolves podcast, patreon.com/Versus Wolves podcast for all that. And I think while we're on the topic, perfect time to, while we've got tabletop adventures going on, we've got future discussions about comics, and we got questions we answer on a regular basis.
Absolutely. This one is from Connie. Dear Super Saiyan 3 Woolie and John over heaven, what is your favorite AMV? Don't lie, I know you have one. Woolie, I think the last people in the world who would lie about AMVs are me and you. AMVs are serious fucking business.
Dear God. All right, listen. The conversation must begin. It must begin with Vegeta's Pride.
That's the one. That's the Adam song.
I never thought I'd die alone. I laughed the loudest, who'd have known? Give all my things to all my friends. I never step foot in my room again.
Okay, this is not my favorite one.
I never conquered, rarely came 16, just held such better days. Vegeta's popping off, going Super Saiyan. The rain is falling. I couldn't wait to get outside. The world is wide. All right. Come on.
Okay, I need to see that. I never saw that one. My favorite AMV is also called Vegeta's Pride.
Wait, is Adam's song Vegeta? Is that? Wait, hold on. Vegeta's Pride is which song?
Vegeta's Pride is hello, my friend, we'll meet again. It's been a while. Where do we begin?
Okay.
When you are with me, I'm free. I'm careless. I believe above all the others will fly. It brings tears to my eyes. My sacrifice.
Yeah.
I guarantee you right now, Michelle is downstairs going, he's talking about that fucking AMV again.
Okay. That my mistake. Not Vegeta's. I think maybe it's just called Vegeta Adam Song. But like it is the Blink 182 sync up with Vegeta fucking popping off, right? Watched in real player, real media format in fucking 360p or whatever.
So here's the thing. If you did your AMV in After Effects, get that shit away from me. I will not watch it. I do not care. 60 frames a second, go fuck yourself.
Die.
Okay?
Yeah. I remember I first saw like an AMV of like Ava 3.33 that was like 60 FPS interpolated and like it's all like smoothed out and shit. And I'm just like, get this shit out of here. This is not what I'm trying to see.
Did you ever see that documentary? And this was so early. A bunch of guys tried to show like AI generated monsters to Hayao Miyazaki.
Oh, yes.
And he's just like, what you've created is an insult to life. That is how I feel about 60 frames per second AMVs.
And he is and this was because, and he was describing to them that he's like, I just visited my friend in the hospital who has muscular dystrophy. And you have shown me something here that shows you have no understanding of the human experience, you know, and the people that are there, you just see them going, hi, yes. They're just taking it. And he's like, yeah, this is an affront to life itself. Look, honorable mentions, Master Exploder, Ava is hilarious with the Tenacious D edit as well. But to me, the number one AMV of all time is an old bop called Euphoria, and it's Frou Frou, Imogen Heap, doing her track mixed with the anime Razafon, which is an old mecha show. And I couldn't believe the amount of editing work put into this, because every guitar strum is like synced to footage of the anime, like sliding and then distorting, like the guitar string would distort at certain points. And when the final like chorus starts kicking in, like multiple layers of images are all rotating with the music, and it's unbelievable. And I'm sure you can still find it. But Razafon Euphoria that blew my mind when I first watched it, and I'm probably gonna stand on that till the day I die.
So for me, like, the one is Vegeta's My Sacrifice, in that like that is like the one I revisit at least yearly. That is the one where if you are at a convention with me and we are drinking in a hotel room, at some point I am going to be like, okay guys, just look, I'm sorry, I need to put this on. I would say a close number 2. There's a Perfect Blue AMV to 9 Inch Nails' Perfect Drug. And that is phenomenal.
I feel that.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Pull the stars from the skies. The more I give to you, the more... I'm not going to do the whole song, but it's...
Yeah. That's fucking so dense with material. Listen, this question, okay, you know what? I have no problem just at this point just telling everybody that we had a show idea that never happened, and it was going to be, we had a logo done, and we originally talked about it, but you, me, and Little V talking about AMVs. The Perfect AMV was the name of the show. And this was back when I remember YouTube was describing that changes were coming, and it sounded like there was going to be something that could like make it easier to not get demonetized to shit if you talked about or played something like a cool AMV.
You remember when YouTube was like, don't worry, we'll protect you from the corporations.
And we were like,
in fucking days, my friend.
I bought it, and I went, yo, with this thing happening, here's a fun show idea where we go in and let's just get into it with all the AMVs that we loved, and maybe even see if we can work on something. And that never fucking happened because we were lied to about that.
You little rat fucks.
But the love for the ancient AMV is deep, deep, deep within our souls. So yeah, absolutely, man. I'm hearing it in my head right now.
I still believe, because I know how much you love that idea. I still believe that's going to take root someday, and we're going to do something with it.
Maybe there was something fun about. I believe the idea was getting a projector to display the Vegeta AMV over our faces. At one point, I mean, we were talking about it, but the idea of
this very conversation is giving me ideas that should not be shared in public. Yes.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Moving on. Yeah, but listen, as always, thank you to everyone who's joined the Patreon over at Patreon/Versus Wolves podcast. Woolie, I'm just going to say it. Stock in the Patreon. It's never been a better deal. Imagine a diehard Versus Wolves fan who's been holding off for this long, and now you get all the crazy intermission lounges. And at this point, I don't know how many intermission lounges there are. 20, 30, so
one for every episode of this show.
One for every episode. Yep. So that contains many of me and Woolie's wildest stories. Too hot for the main channel.
Hot. Yeah. And also just weird shit that we want to throw out there and see if it sticks, So
or if your day is going a little too well and you're like, I need something to fucking ruin this. We have episodes on mouthwashing, BoJack Horseman. You're going straight to bed after them, my friend.
There it is.
Yep.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate it. Woolie. I spent a little time with a game called Bloodborne PSX.
So I know that you have some fond feelings about the video game FromSoft's Bloodborne.
Yes. Now I always feel like I need to qualify this a little bit because I love Bloodborne, but there is a tier of Bloodborne fan that I am not. There is the hardcore New Game Plus 11 Brian from LFAB Bloodborne fan, and that's not me.
No.
I've beaten it twice. I beat the Orphan of Kos once. Had a great time doing it. That's the extent of my love of Bloodborne.
If you got a sick-ass shotgun parry on the Cleric Beast and you popped off watching Maria sitting in a chair, that's all I want from you.
And criteria fulfilled.
Yeah, because that's where I'm at. So this was a PlayStation demake that I was recommending you take a look at.
Yeah, and I would say, Woolie, with a lot of your recommendations, I kind of start off being like, why is he recommending this? That's not an uncommon thing, and I would say very frequently you are able to turn me around on it, and especially like Kamen Rider was one of the biggest ones where it was oh damn. This is, so just to say that, shout out the developer, this is LW Media. Pretty
Bloodborne PSX.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a whole bit here, but the Lilith Walter, aka Bunlith, aka Botster, who has...
Okay, yeah, I feel like I'd seen a couple of different names.
Yes. So Bunlith has become a character on the internet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's great.
Okay, cool.
And we'll get into some of that surely while discussing this.
Yeah, but so I was kind of like, okay, so I'm guessing, so like I've seen footage of this. What I thought Bloodborne PSX was basically a reskin of Bloodborne, like a PlayStation 1 low poly reskin of the game. And I was kind of like, all right, I guess we can do this. And then I started the game, and very quickly things start to feel different, even in like the character creator and stuff. And then you get to the first area, and the camera controls are on the shoulder buttons. And I was like, what the fuck?
And like playing with the D-pad, no sticks to move.
This is such a specific era of even PlayStation 1 game. Like, this is like first third of the PS1's life cycle, right? No analog sticks.
Pre-DualShock,
which is such a wild choice.
Mm-hmm. The Mega Man Legends control era.
Yep. But it's like, so, you know, you're going through it, and like, yeah, it's all Bloodborne, and you remember it. Everything works a little differently. By design, there's stuff about it that just feels like a little jankier, a little less kind of flowy. Like, to switch your weapons, you go into the menu and you hit like select, and that's what switches your kind of
the
trick weapon. And it feels weird.
I have to ask, like, while you're going through that too, like pausing the game for the first time and looking at that pause HUD, like that is just the like you seeing items rotating with the big text, and you're like, we're just Silent Hilling or Resident Eviling, you know, our way through this.
So what I would say is I play a lot of indie horror games, like especially on stream, and that is like a super very, very common thing, like that kind of menu. So like, it wasn't like a super like, oh my god, because it was like, but I do think that like, when did Bloodborne PSX come out?
Ooh, good question. Was it like 3 years ago?
2022.
Yep. Okay.
And like, okay, January 2022. So a while.
Almost 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. And I think in the last 3 years, that kind of like UI design has gotten like really, really kind of everywhere, you know? But, you know, it was still like very well done and very cool to see.
Did I don't know if you had these moments where, because this was a game that I had been popping up on Twitter in just little like video formats that, you know, she was posting from moment to moment, and when the full thing kind of came out, it was like, all right, let's take a look for the novelty. And I think like you get up in the clinic, in Yosefka's clinic, and you run to that door and it doesn't open, and then there's a bit of a what? You know? And I don't know if you had these moments where you're doing the thing that Bloodborne did and you get your own knowledge punishing you, where it's like, no, what you thought ain't what it is. But that happens constantly throughout this, and I thought there were some really fun choices that she made.
Definitely. Especially towards like, I'm guessing it's like the last section, we'll say.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think what was kind of really interesting about this initially, because like initially it is sticking to the format of Bloodborne. You know, you fight the cleric beast, you fight Godfather Gascoigne, and it's like the most pulled back Soulsborne you've ever played, where it's like very, very simple compared to a lot of these games. And what was interesting about that, it was like, wow, even highly simplified, this style of game is still really appealing. Like, I feel driven to keep going. I want to make the numbers go up. I want to get better at killing these enemies. And it's cool. And like I would say, like a lot of the designs, like, yeah, they're low poly designs. They're very skillfully done low poly designs.
Yes.
I ended up going into the menus and like messing around with the graphics a little bit because there's stuff like the vertex jiggle.
Yep.
And I'm not a fan of how vertex jiggle looks. I never liked it. I think it's like a cool thing, but I like to just enjoy character models the way they are.
So the aesthetic choices that you're seeing, I mean, Budleth in general is like really, really good with these like low poly like character designs and like making them come to life. And the slavish attention to detail on the filters you can run, the amount of ways to just emulate every kind of TV you would have played this on back in the day, every type of lighting configuration with dithering, with scan lines, all these choices. And there's like you can customize like the individual options, or there's large presets. I don't know if you went through the presets, but there's one that's just called remastered. And as soon as you switch to it, the game becomes crisp, like absolutely high res, 60 frames per second. The promise of what Bloodborne never was, and it runs better than original Bloodborne.
So that is what I played the game in.
Fuck me, it's just like you're like, this just hurts because Sony never did it. You know?
Yep.
Also, you can put like little cheats in for like custom text when you died pops up. You know, so I put in "you thought." So every time you died, you just text "you thought," you know. Yeah.
So I would say like I was definitely like enjoying it, but I was also like there was kind of parts of it where I was like finding frustration, and like it's like the really nuanced game design stuff that I think like, you know, it's so impressive that like they got something like this to actually work. But there was stuff like a couple of times my camera got stuck.
Okay.
I got caught on a piece of scenery and stuff like that. And in a format like Soulsborne, that stuff does hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, especially like if you have a boss down low and the camera gets stuck and then you're dead. It's like,
With the exception, I'll say, fighting the cleric beast in a sliver of a hallway kind of area is like meant to be frustrating, even in the original game. It's like the boss is too big for the area you're fighting it in. You know, where like that's part of what they're going for.
So in a way, but like if it's because you have trouble keeping track of the cleric beast, that's okay. If it's the camera clipping behind a wall and you can't see the fight,
yes, that's bad.
Different thing.
I mean, and there's bugs here where you can like roll off a ladder and fall out of world, you know, like, which is also very faithful to the era.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was gonna say one thing that I thought was really fun and clever is so sometimes, you know, you'll play games like Shovel Knight, for example, where it's a demake feeling game, like an indie game that's harkening back to a time, but it's doing more than that era would have done, right? Shovel Knight kind of cheats because it's like the Nintendo could not keep up with the thing Shovel Knight is doing, you know, no slowdown, extra levels of color that would not be able to be displayed back then and stuff, you know. Looking at Bloodborne PSX, there are those moments where you're like, "Oh, the fog here is being way too sophisticated for the PlayStation 1." But I love how the asset use is very believable, because I kind of think about these areas in this where like you go into the house that leads to a shortcut back to the first area in Yharnam, right? And inside of the house, you have to load a whole zone that's interior lighting, wood, library textures, etc. And so here they're like, well, if you made this back in the day, you wouldn't just make this loading a whole area just to walk through it for 30 seconds and then exit. So we're going to make a whole library interior house zone, you know, or dropping into the sewers. That's meant to be like a little thing in a 3D world, like the proper game. But here, for the amount of work you put in to create a sewer environment, you might as well make a whole sewer fucking level, you know? So they kind of like that. She did that and expanded these in ways where you're like, yeah, they wouldn't just waste the assets for 20 seconds of your time. They'd build it out to be something. So there's a bunch of expanded new zones that were made from that, you know?
And this kind of touches on like what I started to like appreciate about the game towards the end. So I would say like I was playing this, I was having a decent time. I wasn't saying that like I was necessarily blown away. I just thought, okay, this is a cool fan project, you know? And it was moments like that where it kind of started to become something a little more in like another direction, where I really kind of was like, this person's like, the person who made this has got something, you know? And when that really kicked in is I beat Father Gascoigne, pretty sure that like that was the end of the game. And I was like, okay, this is, I think we're about to roll credits here. And then that's not what happened. And I was like, huh, okay. And I go back through the area and everything's a little fucked up. And one of those giant beholder heads is walking around.
The brain trust.
And yeah, and this thing, I couldn't fight it. I couldn't kill it. It would just kill me whenever I became close. And it's a moment where it feels like Bloodborne leans more into its horror than actual Bloodborne ever does, which I thought was super interesting. Like, I really, really kind of appreciated that she kind of took the plunge on that one, you know?
Yeah, the moment right there too. I remember the moment I picked up on what was happening was like you pick up a book in like one of the library things and you gain insight, like Madman's knowledge, you know? And in this case, you're like, I didn't do anything and I'm getting it. Why am I getting all this free insight, you know? And I was like, oh, wait. And because the clock moved forward and the night proceeded, I was like, I know what you're doing. Because when you build up a lot of insight, the brain trust is fucking coming after you, you know? And like, yeah, leaning from that Souls game thing into like, well, now you just need to run and survive, you know?
Yeah. So I thought that was really, really cool. But then like you get to the end of this section and you start finding these like diary pages, and the diary pages are like, yeah, I'm an outsider here in Yarnum. I'm hoping they can help me. Something's not quite right. And then you kind of make your way through this very new feeling area, and you go into this hall, and in the middle of this large hall is this like wolf man strapped to a bed. And you walk in and the health bar appears and it's like, oh shit, this is a boss fight, but he's still strapped to the bed. And so you attack him and you are attacking a wolf man strapped to the bed, and he starts to break free and like swipe at you and like claw at you. And it's like, okay, shit. And then after about a third of his health bar, he just breaks free properly. And it becomes this completely different kind of boss fight, like so different to anything else in Bloodborne. And it nearly felt like you're fighting a platinum boss with a Bloodborne moveset.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Gilbert the Outsider. Yeah.
And it was like, I was so annoyed because the first time I fought him, and I have all this in footage, so Fox, please show this footage, I nearly beat him first time. I came so close, and then I did not come that close for another like 12 tries.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's a whole new original thing. That's a house that you just talk to the dude through the window. You know, you talk to Gilbert as an NPC.
Oh, right.
Right. And he gives you like the flamethrower, and he's just a house that you never go inside of, you know? But here they expanded on it, and like you go back to talk, but like you go into his house, you have access, and this whole level takes place, you know? Yeah, there's a lot of fun playing with like what the game, if you know the beginning of like the original game where you kind of expect something and they play with what you expect, you know? Something too that is like, I mean, just a side note, but in Bloodborne, in that area, right next to like Father Gascoigne, like my favorite piece of in-game storytelling in video games is when you talk to the little girl in the window, and then you go down the alleyway, and then you make it over to where Father Gascoigne is, and her dad, and you have just in between them, there's the giant pig that you fight, and if you kill it, inside the pig is the ribbon, where you're like, this would never be explained, but contextually, you can piece that girl tries to leave house to find dad, goes up through the main way, too many scary monsters, I'm gonna sneak down off the side into the sewers are safe, no they're not, finds the pig, doesn't make it to her dad who's right over there, you know, like those moments are like incredible, and like
definitely and like even in Bloodborne, if you ever look up all the insane shit that can happen in is it the chapel, the place you bring all the NPCs?
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's so much storytelling that can happen there, and like, you know, different characters will like murder each other and all. It's so
cool. Who comes first, when you leave, when you it's very complex.
Yeah.
So no, the basically so Bunlith, the creator, like then went on to make a Bloodborne cart.
Okay, here's the thing, right? I get to the end of Bloodborne PSX, and like, I wouldn't say I loved it, but I did enjoy it. I did think it was like a cool thing. The last boss fight in particular had me like, I feel like this creator like kind of has the sauce a little bit. There's something like eccentric about this last boss fight that I kind of appreciated like more than the rest of it. Why don't I take a little look at Nightmare Cart?
Yeah.
And I did. And I feel like whatever that little like added eccentricity was, I found so much more of it in Nightmare Cart. And it was particularly with the Father Gascoigne, or what's his name in Nightmare Cart? It's like Father Mikkel or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, fuck. The names are all amazing. Cause like, god damn it. Instead of Mikolash, there's like Nicholas with the cage on his head, you know? But yeah, all the little replacements, because it was originally going to be Bloodborne Cart, and then Sony was like, stop it. And then she was like, okay, it is now Nightmare Cart. Mm-hmm.
And you have that famous Father Gascoigne boss fight where he transforms into the monster on the last third of his health, except it's a kart racer now, and he explodes out of his car, picks up a minigun as this werewolf, and starts shooting at you. And I just thought, like, oh, this just rules. Like, this is so fucking weird and fun
Father
and
Gregory.
cool. Father Gregory, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, you know.
And it's also, like, it's such a fun card game. Like, it plays well, you know?
Nicholas running on his feet, because why would he need a cart, you know?
Yeah.
Totally.
I think I just found, like, that weird combination of Bloodborne aesthetic and comedy, it felt so unique and so kind of just interesting. Like, I know it's like a parody, but I've also never really experienced an aesthetic like that. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, damn, this is fucking cool, you know? And it ended up kind of being one of those projects that made me like, I love fan shit. I love when people just make shit from shit they love. Like,
yes.
So yeah.
Because it's like one thing to be like, all right, you know, you all remember Bloodborne, but now it's like, let's turn this whole route into a race kart track. How do you take this section of Yharnam and drive through it, you know? And there's so much love put into it, top to bottom. And then seeing, like, at MagFest, there was the actual, like, arcade machine for it.
What? Oh, wow.
Like, it got a bunch of cool stuff after the fact. Yeah. And you know, and I guess just kind of following along too, like after that came out and fucking, you know, made an impact. There was like a trailer, like Glitch TV, you know, the studio, they had like a Glitch Carts like trailer that they put out with like a bunch of merch stuff that was basically like showing off like Bunlith did a kart racing thing with their characters.
Oh, cool.
For them.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know this until recently, but towards the end of last year, the creator then she had a Kickstarter for a like little low poly animated series called It's Bunlith, you know, which is just like taking that exact style of like low poly characters, but just like in an animated kind of goofy slapstick context. Description of which is an animated series about trans women plugging themselves into video games to try to debug the world, the community, and themselves. And I watched a 10-minute pilot, and it was hilarious. So
okay, I like. Yeah. Here's the thing. I guess like so, Bloodborne PSX. Like I liked it. Okay. Like I thought it was fine, but for me, the thread here was like that last boss fight. I was like, oh, hang on. This creator is like. There's something here.
Yeah.
And then I saw way more of that in Nightmare Car. And like I'm even on their website here and like they have I don't know when this came out. There's another game called Arcus that looks kind of interesting. But yeah, like hearing that they have like all this animated stuff, it's like, yes, this is a person that I want to be aware of. You know what I mean? I think I think she's good. I think she's gonna make some cool fucking stuff.
Yes, you are friends with multiple people who are friends with Bunlith, I'm sure. Creators and
it definitely feels like this is a 1 degree separation. They did so before I mentioned Bloodborne Cart in a video, and I did see them tweet like, "Oh, I wish they'd said it was Nightmare Cart," and I was like, "Ah, fuck, damn it!" I felt really bad about that, you know. But hopefully this makes up for that.
No, definitely someone to put on the radar. Fun, just low poly perfection coming out on a regular basis. So hell yeah.
And with that, Woolie, we must go to the pantheon of greatness.
Throw it up. I imagine the pantheon coming out of the ground like absolute Wonder Woman's build, just like rising out of the earth, you know.
Okay. So I'm going to say, I think my favorite things from this recommendation weren't actually Bloodborne PSX. I liked Nightmare Car, and I liked like basically like from the brief stuff I've seen here, like, yeah, this all looks cool. Bloodborne PSX was like a little bit of a softer landing for me, but I also think it's one of those things. This is a project where you can feel a creator really like stretching their feet for the first time, and it's not the magnum opus. The magnum opus is like coming, and this is like a great start. And so I guess, yeah. And with that in mind, I would say say
it's always interesting. Sorry to just while you're looking up, because the thought was just there are creators who you know that they have cool ideas for original shit coming, and sometimes they're going to make an amazing piece of fan work that is almost proof of concept for their original ideas. You know,
do you know? That's it's funny.
Something.
Sometimes with merch with Eyepatch Wolves, we did a call for artists recently. And sometimes we'll get this kind of artist, and I'll see their stuff, and I'll look at it, and I'll look at like where their technical ability is at, and where their level of expression is at. And I'm like, oh man, this person's going to be so sick in 3 years. You know, that kind of way?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Now, I think Bunlith at this point sounds far beyond that point, but just yeah.
Well, it's whatever the projects are that we have not seen yet. You know, there's some shit being worked on behind the scenes that I'm sure is, when it drops, you're going to be like, that's an original.
I have no doubt. So I'd say for this, for me, it's not super high. I think maybe this goes between Cyber 6 and the 1997 Shining miniseries.
Okay. That is right there in the field.
And I would say if I had spent more time with the Nightmare Car, this goes way above that.
Okay.
But I think for now, I think this feels comfortable.
Okay. I am a Bloodborne, like, I'm not the hard mark, but I am a huge fan. There is a part of me that that pulls. I pull a little bit more.
Where are you thinking?
For me, I go above solo leveling.
I can do that. I can do above solo leveling.
You know? That feels right.
So between solo leveling and police knots.
Sure.
Or do you want to push it higher?
No, I'm okay with that.
Okay. Our new number 34 is Bloodborne PSX. That landing directly in the field of competence.
Slash bottom of cloud path.
Yep. Yeah, actually, I think technically it is bottom of cloud path.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just because I'm like, solo leveling does have that fucking ridiculous finale, and for like there are problems with it objectively. When like here, I'm kind of like, this is a lot of love. This is a lot of love that I'm enjoying.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, so let's go. Bloodborne PSX number 34. Cool.
Yo.
Hey. I had just enough time to scarf down a parfait, so.
What is a parfait?
Yogurt, and granola on top, and like berries.
Gotcha. Yeah, we have them in Ireland. We just don't call them parfaits.
What do you call them?
Yogurt treats.
Okay. Well, I think elsewhere they tend to be called parfait.
Okay.
I mean, fucking leave that in.
Yeah, might as well. Wasn't
the notions
planning a notion watch today.
Yeah,
but...
the notions of calling your food perfection.
Okay, before we dive into the next segment here, I just want to give a little shout out I forgot earlier. I played like 20 minutes of Romeo Must Die, the new Suda 51 game out.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Suda fan. It's rare Suda does something that I don't enjoy. I did not play any Hotel Barcelona. Not going to. Suda doesn't seem to be too... I don't know. But played about 20 minutes of this. Game seems rad. Seems like No More Heroes, but not No More Heroes. With a bunch of Suda's weird other... There's like a little bit of Killer 7 in there. There's a little bit
Dempsey
of...
rolls.
Yeah. I think it seems rad. Reviews are all over the fucking place on this game. I expect nothing less from Suda. Feed me that garbage. That's all I got to say. Just want to give it a little boost because I know people like our tastes, and I experienced enough of this that I was like, this fucking rules. So whether it'll last the whole time, we'll see. But I really want to play more.
Picked it up as well and didn't start it yet, but yeah, seeing that it's episodic, I saw the trailer and stuff and I'm like, this looks like his style, looks awesome. And there's also a very clear, loud, out and about, like, no AI, none of that shit. And I was like, okay, we're at the point where you have to say it very loudly, but that's cool.
Well, then they also had that thing where now the last Let It Die had a bunch of AI shit in it.
Yeah, which is not him and stuff. So
which sucks because, like, as one of the 8 Let It Die fans on the world, I wanted a single player version of that.
Yeah. I can't believe the franchise continues to exist in some shape or form, though.
It's so weird. But there's like characters from Let It Die in this. It's so weird.
So that being said, well, while we're giving quick shout outs to, I'll give one to MEWGENICS, the new game from Edmund McMillan, who made Super Meat Boy and Binding of Isaac and Bumbo. There's now it's basically Into the Breach / tactical RPG, but with cats and weird mutations, and you have a house full of cats. You're a cat hoarder, and your cats are breeding, and you have to breed your cats and send them out on adventures.
So I have also played about 30 minutes of this.
Okay.
Woolie, I don't know if I think I've talked to you about it before. Binding of Isaac is probably my most played game of all time.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours in Binding of Isaac. There was a good 2 or 3 years where I would come home and play Binding of Isaac.
Okay.
That's what I did.
Okay, so you're familiar with the world of happy face poop.
Yes, and that's kind of why I've been eyeing MEWGENICS. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I also want to play other games this year.
Yeah.
you know?
So Edmund came on Castle Super Beast, and
sick.
And he just talked to us about the game for a while and broke down what was going on with it. And this is a time vampire. The first couple of runs are going to look like normal tactical RPGs, but then you're going to start getting into the builds and the synergies and the things that feed into the things to break the game open, you know? And once you start getting like mutations involved and new abilities and stuff, it's crazy. Also some of the amazing work that went into like cats that are born with different, like sometimes you can be born with like different, skills are different, in some cases literally mental illnesses, or in some cases like again, mutations, right? Like whatever. So you can have all sorts of things, and there's like real world reflections of these things, and they all have these effects where it's like, okay, this is the debuff, but this is the buff, right? Everything has a balance to it. One great example that you know popped up here and then you were talking about is like, okay, if your cat is born with autism, for example, you have -2 charisma, +2 intelligence. The spells you were born with cost 2 less mana. Your other spells cost 1 more.
Interesting.
know?
I was on a BJJ thread recently, and it was like, what is the best advantage you can have with BJJ? First answer with the most upvotes, autism.
That's, yeah. You like the things that you know you are amazing at. The things that you're not familiar with are going to be a bit harder, you know? And there's an approach like that to a lot of the other things in the game that's just like really fun. So yeah, no, MEWGENICS is super fun so far.
Yep, looking forward to playing more.
Right.
Speaking of super fun, Woolie, you've been hanging out in the wild world of Liminal Space.
So this is an interesting type of recommendation, because I'm going to call this a like shotgun recommend, in the sense that
yes, a concept recommend.
Yes, you're not picking a bullet and shooting it. You're putting pellets of different ideas and you're scattering them broadly in the hopes that the concept itself will be the experience, you know?
Yeah, and like a part of that is like, I could have dictated something for you to experience, but because of the nature of like liminal space and how it can be kind of personal in a way, in terms of like what's going to give you that feeling, I didn't feel like that was the right approach. I felt like you kind of had to find your own way a little bit.
Yeah, and I can understand that's like you're also going into new territory here where I don't know what's going to come of this, but like there's an idea of something that you've experienced, and there's a feeling, and I think like that's how you kind of ultimately landed on, okay, you can have your own experience, or you can check out the discussions on r/liminal spaces. You mentioned the complex found footage, you know, you mentioned House of Leaves, and your own video on the subject as well.
You made fun of me about the video, and I felt bad about it all month.
You should. No.
You know, you said to me before, it was like, John, as the Kendrick Lamar video essays, like you said that to me, and it's not fair for you to take that. You literally said, Woolie, John, you are the Kendrick Lamar video essays, and then you paused and you went, or I guess he's kind of the super Eyepatch Wolf of hip hop. And it's not fair for you to take that back, okay?
You are what the people are feeling at the end of the day. Hey, you are what the culture is feeling.
Yeah, look.
and yes, and
I am the pimped butterfly, okay?
I swear to God, you take a white boy to Ruby Tuesdays once.
Twice.
You get one hug. You get one hug from the auntie, and then everything comes back different, you know? Oh boy. Anyways, no, liminal spaces as a concept was an interesting one. And I think that in the process of like going through this, the first thing I did was I went and I played the Complex found footage.
Okay. As the month was going on, I was like, fuck, I hope he played that. Like, that's... Yeah.
That was the first thing I did. And I just went in, booted up, and started. And right away, I was walking through the areas, and I kind of saw some of the, you know, that initial hallway. And I came across a corridor where I saw a little moving shadow, little thing. And I was like, is that a flicker, or is there a thing there? And if so, are we getting ready to do the, like, here comes the monster in the liminal space, right? And I don't know in the end what was up, because I felt like maybe that was just the camera, or maybe the lighting or something, but it felt like there was a shadow that like moved in a way that caught my attention, and nothing else in the experience was like that. So I'm kind of like going, I don't know what that was, but it certainly set my expectations up in an odd way.
Weird. Yeah, no, I did not have anything like that in my playthrough.
Yeah, a lot of sound design making it like bringing that feeling out, I will say.
Can I tell you the moment from the Complex that really hit me?
Mm-hmm.
It's when you're going through basically the back rooms, the yellow area, and it's like yellow, 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 and you're looking at this for like 15, 20 minutes, and then you turn a corner, and there's a red light leaking out from it. Yeah. And that, I was like, but like, it wasn't just fear, it was something, you know? Yeah.
I saw, so what you're describing there, I did, like, as I was going through it, I was kind of like, there's a bit of me that was like, okay, I'm not sure if there's going to be a Slenderman, you know, following me around here, but let's walk through. And it took a while. I think because I thought that something might have been in there, and I think the description of the game says, is something following you, right? I think between that description on the Steam page and seeing a shadow initially, I kind of was like, okay, I guess something will eventually try to catch me, and then I'll have to be running from it. And I kind of was wandering around through that area aimlessly with that thought in mind. And then after like 5 to minutes go by and not really, and I was like, okay. And then like 10 minutes went by and I was like, okay, no, maybe not. And then I had to start of like backtrack and kind of start mapping it, not mapping it, but like making my way through, because
yeah.
I kind of was like, there was a part of me that was like, is this infinitely generating every time I turn a corner? You know, what's it like? And this is all just like entirely procedural. And then it turned out it wasn't, because eventually I found a room that was like fully closed off. And then eventually I found a room where like there's like a little hallway, and it's like suddenly that you have to squeeze through a crack that's like this small. And then you hit a wall where like you have to, the wall is like this low to the ground. And it's like, okay, like the discomfort of like these small distortions in space where this shouldn't be made this way, right? Especially in an environment that has a familiar texture, like the hallways of a parking lot or walking through a hotel room and stuff. And I think I once I kind of understood that part, I was like, okay, so then let me just lean into this and like let the vibe kind of like, you know, kick in as much as possible.
Okay.
Got to the elevators and kind of started seeing like I think like the pool hotel, not the pool, like the water.
So that's generally known as the pool rooms.
Okay. And It's interesting too because playing through this as well, the introduction says like this is not affiliated with the back rooms, and this is like its own interpretation on it. And I was like, I've heard of the back rooms. I've heard people making reference to it. It's kind of like an SCP Foundation sort of thing where it's like internet, like horror lore that is, you know, it's an internet horror thing going on over there. And I never really looked too much into it. But as a concept, I definitely was aware of the idea of like, you're in a place you can't get out of and then a thing is chasing you, you know? And I will say that like...
Which I would say is a take on liminal space, but it didn't happen maybe here. Yeah.
It didn't happen here, you know, and it was mainly just about the mood it was trying to convey, which I kind of was like, okay, I appreciate that is the case, right? So in the end, you know, you wander through these spaces, and then the most like exciting kind of thing is you wander outside at nighttime in a neighborhood in suburbia for a moment, and then like the sky turns red, you know, and it just kind of feels kind of like you're attempting to like either recreate like a dreamscape or just elicit the feeling of going down to the basement when no one else is home and getting that thing out of the garage and then very quickly running back up the stairs. You know, when you're...
I would say that game is the closest I have ever felt to being in a dream, where there was something on my playthrough where I just felt so like in that world in a way I've never really experienced before, in a way that like I kind of really valued, honestly, like kind of loved.
And I think when I was done, I was like, I do know this feeling. I've had this before. And there are places that I can recall in life where this has happened. There's one, and you were asking, I remember you said too, like, when you said, okay, if you check out the subreddit, you might come across a picture that hits you a certain way, you know? And I did kind of go through it, and I will say that in the r/liminal spaces subreddit, there's a lot of just what I would say is just kind of like photography that's desolate, but isn't really the subject matter. Every once in a while, there is something that I feel does get it. And it seems like when it's like, it shows, it seems like it would need, doesn't need, but the feeling comes more from when there is an entrance and or an exit to somewhere you can't see, you know? That feels like those are more successful at it than just a room per se. But I kind of was looking through and I kind of got that. And I was like, oh, there's a place in Montreal I've been where this happens. And I don't have to pull you a post from the Reddit to show you because I've been here. And it is, it's Square Victoria. There's a place in Montreal called Square Victoria, and the hallway in the subway system, if I can show you some pictures.
Please.
All right. So here is the first one. Right. This is a place.
Oh, yeah.
This is a place.
That's the feeling. That is the feeling for sure.
You walk through this place and it is actively like, it is often empty. Here's another from the exact same metro. It's the same subway system.
Ooh.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yep,
and in between these two hallways you're seeing here with this kind of lighting, there's a circular room that connects these hallways and then the main sort of area. And the circular room looks like this.
Oh my God. Yeah, this is exactly it.
Square Victoria. And then the room used to look like this in the past as well.
Can we go here next time?
We absolutely can. And this room, let me show you. Yeah, this is what the circular room used to look like. And you can kind of see where the different exits lead to the different hallways I was just showing you. right?
Yeah.
So there's a large circle and then long hallways that go through. And we can go there for sure. And in fact,
I would love to.
It's so funny you say that, because this room is also like a punchline, because just for like me and some friends and family, because I remember when some people came to visit, and my brother, God bless his heart, he's a fun guy, but like he gets his ideas of like an activity sometimes are kind of just maybe not what everyone was thinking. And so one time he was like, "Oh, I got a cool thing to show you guys on a Saturday night." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to tell you, but just come with me." Right. And people that were out visiting from out of town and were like, "Are we going out? Are we going to like a restaurant?" It was like, "Oh, no, don't worry about it." And he just wouldn't say what, So people were like getting ready to go out, and we drove downtown, farther from where we lived, and he wouldn't say what it was until he took us to this circular room. And he's like, "Look at this. Isn't it cool?"
Oh, and I think it's cool.
Yeah. Well, and everyone was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, check this out." And like, you see the bench in the middle of the circle. If you stand on that bench and you make a noise facing the hallway, you can hear the echo come back at you a few seconds later. And he's like, "So if you sing, the acoustics are really nuts." And it's kind of nuts. Isn't that crazy? And everyone was like, "Sure, man." Is there anywhere to eat nearby? Or
Oh no! I'll hang out with your brother. I'll hang out with him, Woolie.
And I'm like, look. I have no issue with like going to this spot, because I'm sure it's a weird, creepy space, and there's nothing wrong with like on the way from point A to point B, check out this long way. I'll show you an area, right? But this was the destination. The liminal space, which is definitionally meant to be the transition between one place and another, was marked as the destination, and without any heads up or warning for what we were going towards. Everyone was just like, so do we just go back home now? Or, and so, it was an awkward moment.
That's a place I go by myself listening to, like, music. It's not a place where I bring someone and point at it,
It was just, I'm like that, and that's where I kind of went, okay, there are times where the charisma or the reading of the room fails, where you're not wrong in that this is cool, but this needs to be bundled with a place or food or a thing to go do. And you show this along the way as a part of going to this area, as opposed to you're going to come see a hallway and I'm not going to tell you what it is because you're going to be so blown away by it when you get there. And I'm like,
see, I would have been like, "Fuck, look at it," like, but
you just didn't know how to package this, But anyway, yes, Square Victoria. I have many other photos of it, but I mean, these are the ones.
I guess just I figure we should, just to spell it out for people, when we talk about liminal space, what it is, it's like when you stay in a hotel and you're in the hall going back to your room, the hallway is liminal. It is not this destination. It is this in-between place. And liminal space is that idea. It's like these spaces between other places. Elevators, waiting rooms, even places like diners and stuff like that can feel very liminal. And they create a very specific kind of temporal, impersonal feeling that does something to my brain. And I really love them. I love that feeling.
And what got that point across best was your video, which I then watched on Liminal Spaces.
Woolie, I ain't no slouch at the old video essays. You know what I'm saying? I've been kind of been doing this for a little bit. People have kind of compared me to various musicians and whatnot. Some say, I think really I'm closer to like a political leader. You know, I'm closer to someone who did like a social movement. You know, you don't hear Martin Luther King.
It's coming down the lens of the camera at this point.
You don't hear Martin Luther King compared to a lot of YouTubers, okay? But I'm not finishing this.
Listen. So like, yeah, the video, I think, kind of put a lot of what you were trying to get at together, which you begin describing the time that you were dropped off at a bus station with no one around, with no idea when the bus is coming, and that you had nothing left on your phone in terms of battery. So you were stuck alone in a place you didn't know and had no idea how long you were waiting there.
No cars, no nothing, no indication time was passing.
And that's it. That is a yes. As like when you are like just like, what? Where am I? Is this safe? That is a definite sort of like fear I can totally envision, right, as you described it. And I think going from that into seeing people taking photos of these images, and then eventually with this game going into it as well, I think that all that is a feeling I've experienced. It never hit as intensely as it did for you.
Sure.
But I recognize it. So I think as well, the idea of the horror aspect of it, it like horror, my impression of it is that it like a lot, sometimes the best horror seems to tap into something that you do kind of know and
horror is like comedy. You're just, what's funny to someone is not going to be funny to another person. What's scary to someone is not going to be scary to another. You could spend all day trying to dissect why. It's never going to really matter, you know?
But I do get it in the sense that like the weird nostalgia combined with the dreamlike quality and like not sort of knowing where things lead or where they're going, and also are you stuck in time is an aspect of it. But the most effective aspect of it that I do feel like I'm like, oh, that is uncomfortable, is when the architecture gets hostile, right? So
sure.
So there's moments where you round the corner in the complex, and at one point I think the ceiling of one area is just diagonal, and there are like holes that are like, you know, and you're just like, you're like, that's an aggressive architectural choice that is full of hostile shapes that there's no reason for people making a building to do this, you know? And that to me is like, I can feel that, right? That works better than like, there's moments where like, oh, there's a statue lit down a hallway and it looks like a figure, but it's not actually a figure. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's almost like a jump scare. But like the architecture being like just aggressive in its design is something where I'm like, ooh, that does make me feel uncomfortable. I don't like the idea that this is a space I have to get down on my stomach and crawl to enter, you know? The claustrophobia of spelunking, you know, starts to like mix into that a little bit. There's a
Have you ever checked out Blame?
Oh, I love Blame. Yeah.
So I would say there's a lot of quite liminal imagery in Blame, but I also think that if you want to talk about architecture not designed for humans, there's a pretty decent amount of that in Blame.
Oh my God, yeah. You know, just like the wandering around ostensibly a Dyson sphere, you know? It's super not made for humans, and the feeling that you will never be able to meaningfully map a fraction of this if you spent your entire life moving through it, you know, is like, that's deeply disturbing. And I love that. Yep. I love that about Blade.
And I would say that to me is like an example of genuine liminal horror in a way. Like, I think it maybe starts to touch on like kind of cosmic horror as well, where like you're just such an infinitesimally small part of this thing. But like, you know, a lot of what you've been talking about, like the back rooms, there's a spooky monster here. Like, I appreciate that stuff, and I think it's dumb and fun. It's a different thing, Because the second you drop a monster into a liminal space, it's not really a liminal space anymore. Now it's a space with a monster in it.
Yes.
And I enjoy that stuff. Like, I do get a kick out of it, but it's kind of just like, it's not really what I appreciate. And I wish we had recorded it, but like before the podcast, we were talking, and I was kind of like, just from some conversations we'd had, I was like, do you hate this stuff? Did this stuff just not work? And you're like, no. And then I was like, wait, did you think the spooky monster stuff is why I was recommending it? And you were like, a little bit.
So in the video, you went on to describe the difference between liminal spaces as a community and the backrooms. And that made a lot more sense to me. It was like, okay, one of these is just focusing on the feeling you get from looking at these images. And the other is the creepypasta,
the fan community creepypasta that's built up. Which now, just to be real, I don't want to shit on that, because I feel like when I read a lot of backroom stuff, I feel like it's a lot of very inexperienced writers taking a stab at horror for the first time, and I kind of want to applaud that. I think that's fucking cool. I think there is like really genuinely weird and creative stuff people have done with like backrooms lore. I think it's a fun thing to wiki dive. I also think it's a different thing to kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, it is. And I'll say that as someone that is like outside the horror genre, you know, looking in every once in a while, getting recommended things and stuff, that like no, like that is exactly, like sometimes there are people that are going through this and they're taking their first cracks at it and stuff. Because of that, perhaps inexperience, it's extra ineffective at like eliciting the feeling of fear that they would like to get from me in that way.
If you're a teenager or like not experienced with media or horror, it's probably a lot better, but that's the community, right?
And at the same time, you know, like I have had moments where like I'm playing PT and I'm like, oh, this is absolutely making me shit my pants. This is fucking getting me, you know, but that's doing multiple things on multiple levels from a fucking master creator that is knows how to get you, you know?
Boy, does he.
But all this to say that like the distinction between these two things I think is important, and ultimately like, yeah, it is not that the creature chasing you through the maze that you wanted to get at. It was that like weird familiarity, but also discomfort that comes from staring at a place that you may or may not have been, and why no one else is there, you know? And
there's something in that sensation, and like I know it doesn't affect you this way, and like I didn't expect it to. There is something in that sensation that feels so like fucking powerful to me. Like there's something about it where like it nearly like phases me out. Like I'm nearly in another place for a second.
That's,
you know?
the part I don't get, is the strength of it. Because I remember we were walking through Detroit one time, and Michigan rather, when we were at ComboCon. And we were in like just going through a large parking lot behind the hotel on the way to the convention. And you're looking around and you're like, this is a really liminal area. Do you know anything about liminal spaces? You know, and we're kind of like, well, as a concept, I guess so, you know, and you kind of started introducing, and that's the first time I remember you bringing it up when we were looking around that area. And to some degree, I remember you were talking about like, you know, what it sort of brought up. And I was like, I look around an area like this and I do feel a little bit of that discomfort, but mainly I'm just thinking about like, is someone about to rob us? Is someone going to jump out? Like, is it safe to be in this environment right here, right now?
That's why you learn the martial arts, Woolie, so you can, if anyone does, you know,
just parry the bullet. Parry the knife.
Well, what you want to do with the bullet specifically is you want to kind of like bring it around and then come all the way around and then like fire it back. Is kind of the best way to do that. If you can hit the gun as opposed to the person to avoid a fatality, that's probably a good tip as well.
So just all to say that there are times walking outside where there is a concern I have, but that's because my head's on a swivel for whatever might be going on in the situation, not necessarily the dreamlike.
So I do have what you're talking about but it's for different kinds of environments.
Okay.
And I think maybe that might speak to the two specific areas we both grew up.
Maybe, you know.
You remember before we were going to that pub and I was like,
yeah,
oh, we could be about to die. Because I knew that area and I was like, yeesh.
I remember what you're talking about. And there is like...
You remember the graffiti swans?
I mean, listen, a liminal space in the projects is... that shit's liminal because there used to be someone there and then some shit happened right before you got there that made it liminal, you know?
Oh, you're in between, all right. Here in the afterlife.
Yeah. But and you kind of, you know, you get to learn where to go and where not to go and stuff. And that, but you know, all that being said though, no, it is I did feel the impact of the shotgun. I think I felt it as birdshot instead of buckshot.
Gotcha.
And the power of what you're describing, would you say that it all brings you back to that bus stop?
I would say, okay, this is going to sound weird. I'm just going to try and be as real about this as I can. I felt like with that bus stop, like there was an element of fear to it, right? But it's nearly like that feeling connected me to this alternate plane. Like this dream-like space that was removed from reality. I wasn't in regular life anymore. I was in this in-between space between regular life and like this weird dream plane. Every time I'm in a liminal space, I can feel that again. And when it's a really strong feeling, sometimes I feel like if I let go, I'm gone. And I don't even really know what that means. It's just the feeling I get. It's like, oh, I'm barely in real life anymore. Like, I remember one of the strongest I ever got it was I was coming back from some con. I was in some airport somewhere around the world. I don't think I even knew where I was. I was just like, I'd been a crazy con. It might have been a magfest. I had taken some like flight. It might have been France. It might have been Denmark. I don't know. And I had to go through this underground part of the airport. And I walked for like 15 minutes in this underground airport and there was no one there. This was like 3 a.m. in the morning. And I was tired and I was delirious. And it was like, this doesn't feel like the reality I spent the rest of my life in. And it was just like weird. Like it was really just such a strong sensation.
Holy shit. Okay. Maybe I thought I was feeling half of what you were feeling, but what you just described puts it way above what I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Well, so I ordered and managed to receive in the mail a copy of House of Leaves.
Huh.
And this, I also, you didn't mention it last time, but I did see people, and I do remember you mentioned this a while ago to me, don't get the digital copy, get the physical, right? And
for sure.
Yes, and I kind of remember, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember you talking about what and why. So like, I've kind of had, you know, I guess the bits of spoilers for what that is. And then of course the end of the video does a pretty good job describing that part as well. I started reading it. I have not had time to get very far. So it's not fully a part of this discussion. But
sure.
I've read through the intro and was starting to get into the main part of it. And the discussion about like what happens event wise in that, and then the aspects where the liminal horror you're describing is the concept of what is happening with the house and what you're trying
it's
to make
a house
sense of.
that is bigger on the outside, or bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to sum that up, right? And it doesn't make any sense, and nobody can understand why. And it gets worse and worse over time in a proper. I mean, I want to say like Junji Ito-esque way, but I mean, I'm sure this is an established thing of its own that is, worth self-referencing. But the parts that are like that concept on its own is like discomforting. But when the delivery system is a book that is also playing with language, now you have the horror can be filtered into the medium to enhance what we're talking about here. You know what I mean?
So the way the word house is like ever so slightly off kilter,
slightly blue. Yeah, right away I noticed that. Yeah, and that's something that like I always take moments when we play video games to appreciate when it's like this can only be done in a video game. You can't do this in another medium, right? Earlier in this episode, I described the moment where you find the pig in the gutter on the way from one area to the other in Bloodborne, and it's between the boss and where the little child was, away from the danger, but the worst danger down here, and you find the little girl's ribbon inside the pig's stomach. That can only happen in a video game where you go there and then discover that and use context clues to piece together what just happened here. This moment of what you're describing and what's happening in the book can only be done through text. Visuals, images, etc. are immediately going to pull you out of that.
You cannot do an audiobook of House of Leaves. Like, there's stuff you could do, it would be a completely different experience.
And so I have immense respect for things that are in their medium, using the medium to its full potential in a way that cannot be pulled out or adapted elsewhere. It's awesome when it like to whenever someone has an idea that maximizes that, and it's awesome whenever a production company or a publisher or someone is able to facilitate that and make that possible. Because there are limitations to what a printing press can do. If you needed the pages to get all fucked up in shape and size and do things that are like beyond the machine's ability to mass produce, then now we're getting into a whole other realm. But
so that was a big influence on the bizarre world of fake video games. I wanted pages of that book expressly towards the end to make it look like the printing press had broken. And that's directly where I stole that idea.
Okay. Yeah. I'm subscribed to a Patreon where someone is creating every page of the Necronomicon, and they're doing it like slavishly detailed, like they are putting all the attention to every page, and then after they make every page and its text and its images and do it all together, they then weather the pages and age them.
Oh, sick.
So every page that I've gotten, I'm going to have to go bind it after I have the full collection, but every page is like aged and dried and crackled and looks like it's been through time, like it's just a cool little thing. Let me shout him out actually. Christian Matsky is making the Necronomicon on Patreon. Yeah, and I've been subscribed for years, just putting those pages together. Eventually, I'm going to find a bookbinder and kind of go through the whole stitching thing and get it done. But like I love shit like that where it's like you're using this medium. So that is something that like your brain has to do the heavy lifting as far as imagining the space is concerned. But then you have these things that you can do here with words that a picture is not necessarily going to describe. And I find that fucking cool.
Totally. Yeah.
So I'm going to keep reading, and I'm going to see if I can make it through, because I do know that it is shorter than it looks,
In some ways it is, in some ways it isn't. Like, it is a girthy read, I will say.
Okay. But I did get the physical on that, and that's where I leave off on this. Is like,
have you gotten to any of the weird horniness?
Yeah, I have.
That is the one part of that book where I'm like, what? what are we doing here? Like, not that I mind any smut in my media at all, but like, I feel like it's kind of like, I felt like I was losing my mind. This woman was showing me one of the most forbidden pieces of literature of all times, describing my house that is an interdimensional nightmare. And then we fucked. You know? And it's like, all right, buddy, sure.
Yeah. No, there was there's a proper paragraph dedicated towards a stripper with a thumper tattoo, right above the cooch. And then at some point, falling in love with said stripper, he gets so turned on by the idea of that tattoo and her that he gets a hard-on watching Bambi. And you're just like,
I forgot about
what?
that. Yeah, there's just a couple of instances of that where it's like, and I know it's the kind of thing people are going to be like, well, what that actually means is that, none of that was actually happening. This was all a fantasy. That the author wanted to write about fucking. It's fine.
It's the fine. Only way to defeat the clown. The only way to defeat the clown. There's no other way. This is the only way to defeat it. Okay?
Yep. Okay.
That's it.
That's it. We got to take it to the Pantheon. Okay.
What?
Let me start you off here, Woolie.
What? Just if you might, like.
So, what are we thinking between Earthbound and Junji Ito?
I'm curious. Have you had anyone else hit this subject and feel it as intensely as you do?
No, never in person. Okay. I get the feeling that there's dozens of us out there on the internet. But no, I don't think I've ever met. I feel like most people. Okay, I'm going through everyone I'm close with, and every single one of them tolerates my liminal, my liminal space obsession. I think Fox even made a tweet about it once. I think Fox is like, when you're walking around with John, and they just stop everything, and they're like, oh, look at it.
Sorry, 1 second. Someone's at my door. Excuse me. A new hoodie just arrived.
Yeah, that looks so rad.
Good timing. All right. You were asking. You were describing
me, anyone ever
anyone
felt
else.
it as
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, I guess that continues to be the case. But I will take you to Square Victoria next time you come through. And
can we take a photo together?
Yeah, and you can try singing My Sacrifice into that hallway and seeing if the sound comes back.
Oh, sounds good.
Liminal Spaces. Liminal horror?
I think Liminal Spaces.
Liminal Spaces. Well, okay. There's a line here, and I think that line, right around, like, somewhere between the Leprechaun movies and beyond, are where the recommendation does damage.
Yes,
and
yes.
There was no damage here.
No.
But there's a coolness to the concept, is how I feel about it. So for me, I'm pulled towards the field of competence, but your mean enjoyment also affects this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in the field of competence. How hard do you feel you pull? Especially when you're describing sometimes the idea of letting go or
Like, Woolie, I might just disappear someday. And that's what happened. That's you can listen to this clip and be like, that's where John went. And they're gone now.
I mean, even the fate of someone you describe in House of Leaves that ends up falling, right? Like, is that your number one worst nightmare?
No, it's not. Because I find a certain peace in that idea. Things start to get really strange with this stuff, Woolie. I think I'm broken.
That was not what I was expecting to hear.
Woolie, what if you could stretch your consciousness out to infinity?
I am Tetsuo. Yeah. I get you. Here's the thing. What's the difference between that and eventually cars stopped thinking? Because at a certain point, not having a body or having no ability to do anything outside of your body and having no stimulation of any kind around you, like, you know,
because
how
one is becoming infinity and the other is being trapped in infinity.
But you know how when you add all the colors together, you eventually just get one color that is nil, right? There's a bit of that where all the noises at maximum volume just become white noise, right? I feel like ever expansion, omniscience, omnipresence, omnipotence, etc., the aspects, like there's a level of this where it ends up being the same as being trapped in space, unable to move, or Lord Tulpa at the bottom of the ocean, stuck in that gold in Ninja Scroll, you know, where you're like...
I hear you. This discussion is going to get incredibly abstract very quickly. To me, it's not adding colors, it's taking them away.
I don't get
Pantheon of greatness. Where's
I don't get it. Okay. I'm just going to ask.
Okay.
John, what is your experience with psychedelic substances?
Nil. Zero ever.
Okay. You're describing feelings that people tend to ascribe to having journeys with psychedelic experiences.
I don't need them. I'm already there. I'm fine.
I will say that, like, losing, because there's certain, and I mean, people do break down the specifics of it that are really interesting, where they get into how, like, you know, I guess just like when you start losing the ability to, like, when your brain stops emphasizing the distances and the limits between ideas and concepts and shapes and things, then the feeling of interconnectedness, etc., yada yada, you know, all that stuff. But overall, what you're describing of just like a void, right? Just an absence of all things in a way. I am Tetsuo. Like,
yeah, like that's like, I saw that as a kid, and that moment I was like maybe that was where it started, you know?
I guess, but I also suppose that the little ego that, you know, the little ego shit human being that's sitting here is like, I don't want to be everything. I want to be me. And, you know, like, the idea of, like, becoming a little bit of everything and joining the Borg,
no,
you know, is terrifying.
Come to infinity,
Isn't this what the show Pluribus is all about, actually? The new show Pluribus is all about that.
A little bit. There's similarities.
I heard it's very good. Not sure. All right, fair enough.
Pluribus is absolutely one of those shows. It hits you or it doesn't. Or it didn't hit me. Yeah.
Okay. But overall, I mean, it's an interesting aspect to this liminal space discussion.
No, for sure.
But in the end, I suppose the sum of my experiences in my life so far are not such
and I still really appreciate you giving it a good hard shake, because I knew that there's the chance that this just doesn't land. Mm-hmm. And I got what I wanted out of this discussion. This was very interesting. It's interesting because sometimes I think, like, when you really get into this stuff, like, this brought me to a side of liminal space that I don't think I touched on in my video. And that's because I needed to explore it. Like, this is one of our weirdest talks.
It is.
Ever.
It is.
I don't know what people are going to make of this.
But no, I mean, there's, I think there's something to be said, again, with the medium, the system of delivery, etc. But, I mean, just as we were initially talking before, we just started to record here, and we're kind of like, okay, gotta get whatever the thumbnail is going to be for this. It's like, is it going to be Woolie afraid in the back rooms? Nah, probably.
Okay, well,
not.
now hang on. I'll break the kayfabe. What do you mean, whatever the thumbnail is going to be? I've done the fucking thumbnail.
No, I know. I'm lightly referring to that because when are we recording this? Who knows?
Yeah, never.
This is the time frame that this is being recorded in is liminal, because they get it at an endpoint somewhere between the last one and now, but they don't know what day this is.
That's true. So, Woolie, we've talked about infinity, we've talked about consciousness, we've talked about the boundaries between people, ideas, and concepts, and the question is that better or worse than Riverdale season 1 to 3?
I like Cyber 6 more than that. I enjoy Cyber 6 a bit more.
I think Cyber 6 is a fun piece of nostalgia that I indulged you in.
Cyber 6 is a real anchor on this list, isn't it?
Cyber 6 is a show with some interesting ideas.
Because I feel like we have two lists in our brains, and like there's the blend of the two, the Gogeta of the list. We can both feel that somewhere around Cyber 6 is where the real list begins, right?
Yes.
It's kind of gray, whether Leprechaun or the Shining miniseries, whatever.
Uma Musume is way too high. Too high.
But somewhere around Cyber 6 is where the real list begins. And I like Cyber 6. So that's my logic, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if I were to pick something that, like, terrifies me, that you don't feel that big on, how would we rank that?
Well, again, it's not about fear for me.
Okay, elicits a strong emotion. Like when
I think for me, for me, liminal space is like, we're talking top 15.
Okay.
And that's obviously not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
because I just thought of there's things like this that I experience from time to time, and I've had these conversations with friends. When something hits religious upbringing horror or just uncomfortable things that harken back to church in a particular way, it nukes my soul, and others are like, yeah, I get it, right? And I remember one of those was the Kevin Smith movie Red State, and it's a so-so horror movie that kind of does the thing that horror movies do these days, which is like, it's really, really scary and then eventually gives way to absurdist, almost slapstick insanity. Mm-hmm. And it's entertaining, and it pays off in a way that's like really
fun movie,
enjoyable.
Fun movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, Weapons is like that. You know, a lot of, you know, I mean...
Oh, I loved Weapons.
But they have the same... I thought it was cool, but there's things about it I don't like. But, like, there's a level of, like... You know, and the end of Red State, spoilers for anyone who listens to it, this super religious Westboro Baptist church cult, they're going to kill the protagonists because God told them to. And then one of them escapes, gets over to the nearby neighbors, and blasts the sounds of trumpets, and what makes that sound like heaven is opening up its gates, and Jesus is returning. And everyone that's in the firefight and for the cult just gives up and starts being willing to kill themselves and just die, because they're like, we did it, we lasted long enough, God has come back, the rapture's here. And the sound of the horns opening up and that moment of like, oh my God, the world is over, Jesus has come back, that's a fear that I had for the first 20 years of my life. And when I walked away, I was still stuck with that feeling that maybe I was wrong, and the world might end any moment now. And did I just damn myself forever by doing that? Did I make a mistake? Was I wrong? That was so deeply rooted that when that movie played that blaring trumpet sound and everyone of the cultists got up and went, oh my God, we did it, I like almost shit myself in the theater. It fucked me up. I had a visceral reaction to that moment, and no one else did. They just went, oh, crazy Westboro Baptist cultists.
Well, Woolie,
but
sounds like a top 15. Sounds like a top 15 moment. So,
but that wouldn't be anyone else unless you've had what I just described. You know? Does that make sense in this analogy?
So take note of the Pantheon. What about this?
Solo leveling.
No. Let me make this clearer.
Liminal space is outside of the Pantheon?
That'd be pretty funny.
What? Wait.
I mean, it's an abstract space. It doesn't... Fine. Okay, can it go above Cyber 6? Can it go above Cyber 6?
Hold on. Are we adding a Z-axis?
I don't... Yeah, that's what we're doing. It exists... not with Berserk. It exists outside the Pantheon in a space that is unlike any other. Unranked.
I mean, on the one hand, this is kind of cowardice, but on the other hand, this might lead to some wild bullshit. So the idea of a Z-axis being introduced into the Pantheon, I'm gonna have to go with it for the bit.
Hell yeah.
Liminal space exists outside the Pantheon.
Yeah,
not in the throne of heaven.
No, not even close.
Just sideways.
Over
here.
For a second there, I did that, and I thought you were going to go like this, Woolie. I get it.
I'm going to have one. Yeah, the movie moment where it's just like, wait. Do that again. Right? So you're saying if we go Oh my god, I think you douche. Buddy, you're a short man. It's the moment I get it. Yeah, the movie fucking bullshit. That's exactly how they came up with it, actually.
Oh,
okay.
man.
Foxcade, good luck showing this somehow. It's not a qualitative outlier. It is a conceptual outlier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Woolie, this leaves only one section, and it is not liminal. It is life or death. It is recommend or die.
I'm kind of thinking about Caribbean food sitting next to liminal space outside this ranking list, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean...
Because...
Is that it? Is that what the liminal zone of the list is?
Because when you got hit by that grandma's cooking moment, you know?
Well, I just thought that was some fucking bullshit.
Sure.
I did not eat your grandma's cooking.
But, like, that is a Z-axis ass fucking recommend if any of them are.
You know what, Woolie? Caribbean food, let's put it in the liminal zone.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. Number 19, Caribbean food, has been sent to the liminal zone. And for some reason, that is the most sense we have made in several minutes.
Does everything move up by one as a result?
Yes, everything does. Well, up to number 19 anyway.
Oh god, this is so stupid. All right, recommend or die.
Look, it was never smart. It was never smart, Woolie.
I hate lists so much, John.
Mm-hmm. I know you do, and I've made you construct one that's 47 entries. 46 entries.
Okay. So yeah, recommend or die. All right. How long did you say you got in that cold water for? What was your limit on that?
I don't remember. It was like 20, 25, somewhere around there.
That has nothing to do with this. I guess this is funny because there were breadcrumbs outside the time zone that we are currently playing with, because time is convoluted in Versus Wolves. But for this month, I wanted to see how you felt about something that you have strong feelings about already, but you haven't experienced.
Woolie, I have already booked into the Muscle Girl Cafe. I actually, depending on where this releases, I might be there right now when this video goes up.
Motherfucker. I'm so jealous. You have feelings about, but have not experienced Ashita no Joe.
Damn, interesting. For a second there, I thought you were going to say hallucinogenics.
No, that is that's a discussion for another time that might require waivers. However, at this time around, that is
what are we talking? Manga, anime?
Anime, because it's the boxing show that is the classic that is always recommended whenever Ippo gets discussed. And I've had just as many people bring that up to me as well. And we all know one thing about it, and that is the famous shot from it. But I don't know anything else about it, did not know anything else about it. And then I started checking it out. And I have not finished it, but I have gone through a bunch of it. And I would like to see how you feel about this as well, because I think there's some stuff here that's interesting and worth talking about, not just in light of Hajime no Ippo as another boxing story, but just in terms of this as a classic piece of anime.
Sure. Cool. That sounds great.
I don't think making it through the whole series is possible in time for next month. So all I can really say is, like as usual, do what you can, and I'll do what I can, and we'll talk about where as far as we get to, you know?
Cool.
I'm partial. This is not a full-on double blind, but like I've started it, but like it's almost mostly double blind. So
how many episodes are you in?
I'm in about 10 right now.
Gotcha.
So
okay. I will do my best to make it to around 20. Now, I've got some travel coming up.
Of course.
And the travel might mean way more time to watch it or less time. Many things are up in the air.
What I can say so far is that like there's aspects of this that are a slow burn, but still worth discussing.
Okay. If people have like a recommendation, and please don't say like you have to watch 60 episodes. I will not, like, but if it's reasonable, I will try and get there.
Mm-hmm. But I wanted to know a little bit because people have always brought it up in context of Ippo discussion, and there was the curiosity outside of just the famous shot, you know?
Yeah. Well, like you said, Woolie, I will try my best. And I'm glad that you're going to try your best. You know, Woolie, I've been thinking about that.
I can hear you. You're revving up. You're revving up here. But I'm like, I'm like, was that a hard catch of the ball on Ashita no Joe there for a second? Or,
I mean, I'm happy. I feel good.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just checking.
No harm, no foul. This isn't. I think we're kind of past the period in Versus Wolves where we recommend each other things for the sake of pain. I think we can both agree on that, right?
For sure.
Been thinking about that second episode a lot, Woolie. You remember the one, right? Where he talked about the strip club. And I missed the fighting game tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what was your recommendation for that episode again? I can't even remember.
Woolie, your recommend is to go miss a fighting game tournament.
I want you to sign up. I want you to not program your alarm clock that day. No. I think,
early on, my first couple recommends, I tried Gunbuster, and then I tried Saga, and then I tried...
No, that doesn't sound right. What did I recommend you that episode?
Was it Earthbound?
Was it Complete Failure versus Earthbound, or was it Complete Failure versus something else?
I thought it was, but maybe I'm mistaken. Let me check my notes. This was Complete Failure versus... All right. Okay. How long is it? How long is it? How long to beat?
It's time. It's time.
All right.
The Festival of Termina is upon us. And Fear and Hunger 2 is your recommendation.
All right. 26 and a half hours. Main story 20. Completionist 68 and a half hours.
No. Forget all that, Woolie. I want you to experience this game because I genuinely think...
put the qualifier on the difficulty. That'll ruin the experience entirely.
I don't want you to worry about difficulty.
I hear it's a much better game, so this should be fine.
Debatable. It's so really with Fear and Hunger 2, what it is such a different game. Like it will seem similar when you start to play it. The like core philosophies of these games are so different, and the way you play them and like the things you learn are so different. In so many ways, a lot of knowledge about Fear and Hunger 1 is nearly a detriment to 2. Like it's fucking crazy. I'm not going to recommend you any like super difficult mode. Just regular mode is totally fine. Just want to drop a reminder once again that I learned to play Fear and Hunger on Terror and Starvation, but you know, it was obviously too much for you. But like, it's fine. Fear and Hunger 2 doesn't even have Terror and Starvation mode. It has Maso mode, and not even I will inflict Maso mode on you, Woolie, because fuck that. But
if you want to drop those little quips, then you can't complain when I talk about the experience I have with the first game.
I just forgot that there's gamers and then there's gamers.
All right.
But no, okay. Let me get through my spiel here. So,
but I love interrupting your spiels.
I know you fucking do, and it's the equivalent of like two guys being in a wrestling match and one of them going for a body slam and the other guy going, "No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it." And the crowd's like, "Well, this is weird."
It's the theater kid. I just, you know. All right. Let's go. We're locking in.
Anyway, listen. I don't want you to do what you did the first time around.
Okay.
That is not how I want you to play this game. Okay. I want you to understand this game. I want you to feel what the game is asking you to do. I want you to try and make your way through Termina and like understand its systems and understand how to play it. You are going to get a lot more out of this game rather than seeking an optimum path. Explore, figure it out, go to different areas at different times of day, take notes, try and put things together and try and figure it out. You don't want to play this game like an ultra difficult RPG maker game where there's like a correct style to stand on. You want to develop an understanding for this game's systems and what it's asking for you and how to spend your resources. That's the experience I want to have for you here.
Yeah. I
would nearly recommend my video, but I will never open myself up to you like that again. So, you know, it's what it is.
If you think it's a good idea to add context to the recommend, then please do recommend your videos.
Okay, look, I think maybe check out my Fear and Hunger video just so you can see how differently we approach that game
after playing it.
So I only have a Fear and Hunger 1 video.
Okay. Yeah. No. And
I will send you the uncensored version on my Patreon so you can so you can experience my fucking awesome paragraph about the orgy.
And then you go watch my playthrough of Bloodborne PSX, the best of, with me and Reggie. I kid. Hey, listen.
Woolie, I just want to make this really clear, okay? I would never watch your content.
For the best,
everybody.